Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with the juice to get you through the long night. And I know you guys were looking for my breakdown. You're like, where's Grace's breakdown? What's going on? Where's the breakdown? So I had an issue. Like, I try to be proactive and hire an editor. It didn't work out. It didn't work out. So today, to make it up to you guys, I'm going to do a live stream and we're drinking on this live stream. We got some Baratheon whiskey popping off. So we're going to be lit the whole time. We're going to read The Greens to Filth. And also with me, I have a special guest, and there's going to be another special guest that pops up during the stream. So I got my dog, my homie from day one, the Don, Tony Teflon.
What's going on? What's going on, Gray? What up to all people out there in the chat? Thank you for having me on. We about to get this thing. Like, I've been sick all weekend, and people ask us, Don, where did Don been with his reviews and stuff? But I've been sick, but I'm feeling much better. I'm all antibiotic up, so I'm here with you, rocking with you. We're gonna get this thing popping. Our other guests should be here a little bit later. They rocking with us. You know what I mean? They're a little late. They run a little late, but they be up in here. Now, what up to everybody up there? I see whatever. Why so curious?
Yeah, everybody in the chat.
What up to Christian Lloyd? What up to Nina? What up to King Corleone? What up to Kenneth Thomas? What up to D. Anderson? You know what I'm saying? You see it, I got the Scully on because the Scully's where I'm sick. I can't be rocking Yankee hat and stuff like that. So we Scullied up. And then that's the way we're gonna rock this and get this thing popping with you.
Yes, we're gonna go through it. So we're gonna go through episode 9, right? And then over on Tony's channel, every y'all gonna hear my dogs barking. It'd be like that. But you're gonna after we stream, Tony every week he does a pre-stream live stream before the episode on his channel. So if you want to talk about the finale, you're gonna go over to his channel. I'll be over there. Bridge and Phil.
Yes, of course.
With Bridge 4 and Phil the Issues guy. And you know what, are we gonna talk shit?
Yeah, so 6:30 p.m. will be there.
6:30 p.m. on Tony's channel. Also, guys, I know episode 10 leaked, and I know you want to talk about it, but we're not gonna talk about it because I haven't watched it. And for the people that haven't watched it, we're not gonna be spoiling it. So please do not spoil the episode. Please don't. Come on, guys.
I will save some time on my stream, like the last half hour, to talk spoilers on the episode if you want. So if you want to talk about it, come to my stream. Last half hour, we'll talk about the episode. Anyone who's watching can say what they want to say there.
And we're going to have all this week to talk about book spoilers and the finale and everything. So yes. Don't spoil anything. All right, so let's start right out and break down episode 9. So I'm just gonna tell y'all off the bat, episode 9 was my least favorite episode. I didn't fuck with it like that. I didn't like it like that. I thought it was slow. I thought when we were coming off episode 8, which was potentially one of the best episodes ever that I've seen that has came out of Westeros, to episode 9, it kind of fell flat. It kind of fell flat to me. What did you think overall of episode 9?
Yeah, it wasn't the best episode of the season. It wasn't even top 5, I would say. It was there, when you get to this point, it starts to, if you read the books, it starts to be easy to predict exactly what's going to happen for these last couple of episodes. So it didn't hit the mark, but I didn't think it was terrible at all. It just didn't have that same what the other episodes have. So we say gravitas, for lack of a better word, than the other episodes. But it was still good. There was a couple crazy things in there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why they did it or anything else like that. You know what I'm saying? But there's a couple crazy things in that motherfucker. But, it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah, it was like, there were some, it felt very, where the fuck is Daemon and Rhaenyra? Like, I get it. Like, you want to do a episode focused on the Greens, but they ain't got the same. It's not the same. It's not the same without them. And I just didn't. It was a good episode. there really hasn't been a bad episode this season, but it was definitely my least favorite. It was definitely my least favorite.
You got to care about these people, right? So if you don't care about the Greens too much, and you really ain't gonna want to see what they got going on there. You know what I mean? And they changed a couple of things. We're gonna talk about that, but I didn't like a couple of things that they chose to do compared to the book stories in this episode. I thought the book did it better. And there's a couple of things I've seen them in this season, I thought they did better than the book. But this episode, I thought the book did it better.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, like, okay. Let's talk about it. Fuck it.
All right.
Let's just talk about it. The Green Council.
Mm-hmm.
The Green Council, I don't get it. Listen, I know y'all think I am biased. Like, let's just not even pretend. I am biased as fuck towards House or Team Black. I believe Rhaenyra is the rightful queen, and I believe anybody, like what Santa said, I'm the rightful king, and anybody who denies it are foes. Yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about Rhaenyra. But I don't like what they're doing with Alicent's character. Alicent was very Cersei-esque in the books. Very, yes, she loved her children, and a lot of what she did was because of her children. But to make it like she heard this prophecy and this is the reason why she's doing all this is really whack. It's really bad.
I agree. That's one of the things that the book did better. Now, in the books, if we going by that, Alicent is not the same age as Rhaenyra. She's much older, right? So they changed it up and made her younger to make it seem like they were best friends, and that's the dispute they went with. But in the book, it's clear that this is what Alicent wanted to do. It was no prophecy that she heard. She just wanted her son on the throne. Now, if you're giving her an excuse by saying she heard this prophecy, and I don't like that excuse that they're giving her. I think that she should just behold your wait. You want your son on the throne, period. Now, if you feel like your son's life's on the line and that's why you want him on the throne, I'm cool with it. But as for, my husband's last words were to put his son on the throne when nobody else was there but you, and now all of a sudden that's your motivating factor, I don't like the way they played that.
Yeah, it was really weird. It's because, bro, listen, you heard him say a dream, right? You heard him say, Aegon, the one in the north, the prince who was promised. And you take that and you use that. And I don't get that. I don't get that because, like, he had all this time to make him his heir, and he didn't do it. And the last thing he did before he died was to drag himself through the throne room, use all the energy he's got to support his daughter. So I find it like really it's like a contradiction 100%. To like just from one episode to the next. It's contradictory, but it's also very contradictory to her character because, like, I'm not agreeing by any means, but I do like Alicent, and I do like what Alicent adds to the story in Fire and Blood. I've always felt she was a mix between Cersei and Marjorie, where she's cunning like Marjorie, she's smart like Marjorie, and she's, all of her courtesies and Sansa stuff. But when it gets into like, it's contradicting on the show because 1 minute, Aegon, you're going to be king. Everyone in the city knows in their hearts that you're going to be king. And then the next episode, she's like, you guys were making a plot behind my back that I didn't know about to put my son on the throne. How dare you? Like, yeah, that's a contradiction.
In the book, she all about that life. So they ain't nothing behind that back. Now, I can see how they're trying to do it if they want to say, all right, we don't want to have villains in this show. We want to have gray characters so that people can choose a side, but they're trying to make her sympathetic. But from the jump, when you see this chick grabbing her jerking off ass son from the window, grabbing him by the cheeks and saying, "You're gonna be king, you're gonna be king," and now all of a sudden, of course they've been doing this, and you know the deal, Shirley. What you mad about? You brought your father back specifically and said, I don't care if he's just. I just know he's going to be on my side. And that's all I care about. Doesn't matter if he's giving the king good counsel. He's going to be on my side. You just tried to usurp the whole throne from this chick with the House Valyrian. You tried to hold a false fucking courtroom and everything else. And now all of a sudden you want to play dumb? Now all of a sudden you want to act like you ain't about that life? Like you didn't know what was going on and you against it? That's some bullshit.
Yeah, it was really crazy. It was really contradictory. It's like her character is all over the place. I don't think they know exactly what they're doing with her character. But a lot of the characters are like that as well. But before we get going, let me get into the super chats because there's some super chats coming in. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the super chat, Philip Allman. Didn't like the fact that the show showed Alicent not really knowing about the Green Council plotting to crown Aegon. I like the fact that she was the architect in the books as opposed to her being left in the dark. Yeah, I like that too. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, which is exactly the same what you're talking about. But I did kind of like how the episode morphed from her being in the dark to her having this conversation with Rhaenys, where Rhaenys is like, yeah, you're still doing the work of men. Then that morphs into her trying to get Aegon before her dad does. But to act like this just happened this day when she's been plotting it for years is crazy to me.
Years. I'm saying it ain't like she just came with this. It's been years that she's been on this whole kick, and now all of a sudden she playing stupid. I can't buy that. No bueno.
Yeah,
for that.
That's a no-go. So also we have a super chat from Sam. Thank you for the super chat. Just showing some love. Thank you both. Thank you to both of you for all the streams. I can't read because I've been drinking this Baratheon whiskey. And you know why I chose the Baratheon one? Because this episode reminded me of Renly's conversation with Ned Stark after King Robert died. So when Robert died, Renly's advice to Ned Stark was to take Joffrey right now, put him under guard. If Ned had did that, there would have been a different story when it comes to Game of Thrones. And Alicent is smart enough to know, I need to get my son before my dad does, because whoever holds the king holds the kingdom.
Yeah, that was, a little bit crazy. That whole scene to me, when they were doing the whole searching for him and everything else, that's something that I didn't really like that at all. I didn't like it, like he's being held prisoner over here, and these guys are looking for him, and everyone's going out looking for him. Like I just didn't feel that at all. I didn't. It just didn't seem right. It just didn't fit. You know what I mean? And this guy is just such a lush. This is the heir to the throne, and all of a sudden he's able to sneak out, and no one can find him. How big is King's Landing? I need to know that, because how did they find?
It's big.
Dad? It's big, like a city, like New York City, like Baltimore.
Well, I think they said the population was 1 million in a Game of Thrones. Yeah. I think Tyrion tells Jon Snow the population is 1 million.
Because you would never find them in New York City. If that dude was in Brooklyn, you wouldn't find them. If he was in Queens, you wouldn't find him. All of a sudden, these 4 people going through the city, and they ain't got no cars, no on foot, and they able to traverse the whole goddamn city and find this motherfucker. I just can't buy that. I can't buy it. They were able to find him.
They weren't really able to find. They weren't really able to find him. They paid the White Worm. Yeah. The White Worm had him.
The White Worm had him hostage because of the fighting pits for the children fighting pits, and I don't know where that came from. The children fighting pits. I wasn't really feeling the children's fighting pits that much.
Of course not.
I don't know what the point
Well,
is.
I mean, it's a callback. Not a callback, but we know that from A Song of Ice and Fire, we have Roarg and Biter, and they were Roarg was like what would we call that? Like a ringmaster.
Yeah, he was doing some fight, but it was like
he was like a fight
though,
promoter.
Right? Yeah, but
he was like Dana White. Isn't that guy's name that does the UFC
he was Dana
fights?
White, or
he was Dana White of Westeros.
He was that Don King, but they weren't doing kids and shit. You know, I don't mind a little fight.
He took Biter, so Biter was a kid, like an orphan, and
Mm-hmm.
Roarg took him and like raised him to be like a feral ass man.
Yeah, he
and filed his teeth down.
Yeah, he shaved it. But I don't think he was fighting them when he was young. You know what I mean? Not like these people was like young. Like to me, like if it was just a regular fighting pit with some adults, like I just don't see how the guy who they they claim him to be the heir to the throne is chilling in there. You know what I mean? Having bastards and nobody know nothing. Nobody know nothing. I mean, you couldn't get away with that.
Yeah,
there's no way you get away with that. I just don't. I don't feel it. I mean, know the way that
they might be scared. They might be scared to tell on him.
It's possible. You know what I mean? It's possible. If I just myself, I wasn't feeling the fighting pit scene, or the way they rocked it out and everything, all that whole chasing scene, and I thought they could have did something better there. Yeah. Back to I'm skipping. Right? We back at the council. We can go back there.
Also, thank you for the super chat, Vincent Harper. Thank you. Salute. So the Green Council, I don't have these pictures in order because, to be honest, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But let me go to. I have a picture of Beesbury on here because I want to talk about this.
All right.
Maybe I don't. Back to the Green Council. So I don't have a picture of the triple OG, double OG, triple Beesbury, the original gangster of Honeyholt. So out of all these people on the council, Lord Beesbury is the only one that sticks up for Rhaenyra. He's the only one.
Yeah, everybody else had already. And you can see why some of them, right? So we have two butthurt motherfuckers up there. Lannister dude, who his house was spurned. Kristen Cole, he was spurned. So we know they ain't going to be down with it. You know what I mean? We know they was out of it right then. You know what I mean? So, but Beesbury stood tall. You know what I mean? This is another change from the books that I did not like that they did here with Beesbury.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
Because in the books, what happens in the books is that Kristen Cole slits the throat of Beesbury and kills him, knowing that he intentionally wanted to kill him because he kept talking and he intentionally wanted to do that. This one, they kind of made it look like it was an accident. Like he just pushed his head down and hit the rock and it split his skull. Like it was an accident. And I don't, and that's another way I didn't like it. The dude in the books 100% wanted to do it. He slit his throat in front of everybody and said, all right, let's move on. And that's it. This one, they tried to make it look like an accident. And then all of a sudden, you had the King's Guardsmen should have cut him down. This guy's gotten away with killing more High Lords than anybody.
Anybody.
And no one doing nothing about it.
Like, okay. Crispin Cole, and guys, I do know his name is not Crispin, but his name is Crispin. Here, his name is Crispin. Crispin is a piece of shit, like dead ass piece of shit. Like, you sneak up, you're a member of the King's Guard. You're in full armor. You sneak up behind an old man and kill him, and it wasn't an accident. I don't care what they showed on the show. It was not an accident. In the books, he kills him. Dead. But he has like this weird, like, I don't know if you guys are picking it up. I don't know if they're purposely doing this, but he has this weird, like, almost like religious fanaticism about him. But I also feel like it's phony at the same time.
Yeah, it definitely phony because you can see the way he looking at Allison, like he coveting this chick. You know what I mean? Ain't no way this dude ain't hard on this chick and everything else. So I got no love for him, no love for his character. I don't understand his animosity. I don't know how someone, just because the chick didn't want to be with you, you gonna hold a grudge all this time. This whole time. You gotta get over that shit, man. How you ain't over this shit already? You know what I mean? I just don't see it. How you ain't got over that shit so far, and you still trying to get this chick murdered and take everything from her because she didn't want to run away with your bitch ass and go and live until you could be a sellsword. She gonna give up the Iron Throne and be rich so she can go work somewhere. Who doing that? Ain't no one doing that,
right?
Unless you want to go with Corliss's son, you should have got with him because he was about that life.
What was he gonna do? What were they gonna do with Cyrex? Like.
Yeah,
what were they going to do with Cyrex?
You got to give it all up. You have to give everything up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, yeah, that was definitely nuts.
Thank you for the super chat, Shane52911. My girl is finally doing a live stream. Love you both. Thank you. Love you too. And shout out to Ray Negron. Thank you for the super chat. Watching live from Orlando. Vacation for my B-Day weekend. Love that you're live. My girl only watches your breakdowns religiously. Keep it up, homie. Thank you to the both of you. Happy birthday. Thanks for tuning into the stream. We have another super chat from Girl Tamia. Thank you for the super chat. Gray and Tony, hi. Thank you for all you do. Question, what new info do you think the finale may provide that the books left unanswered? That's a good question.
It is, but I know the answer, so I can't really say.
Yeah, he can't answer because he doesn't have self-control. He watched it already.
Yeah.
He watched it already. I'm only watching it in 4K.
But if you come to my live stream, we'll talk about that at the end, and we'll talk about that. I promise.
So yeah, make sure to check out his live stream because they're going to talk about it at the end. But we're just going to talk about the preview when I'm there, right? No spoilers?
That's right.
Okay, cool. So, I also saw on Twitter that HBO leaked that episode on purpose, and it's not the real episode.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, that would be great if they did do that, but I don't think that's the case. That's a lot of work to shoot 2 fake episodes. I mean, we heard that at the end of Game of Thrones that they had 2 ending episodes, and there was no proof that to be true at all.
So one of the things, I'm not going to say it because it's a book spoiler, so I'm not going to say what it is or anything like that. I'm just going to say I hope we get some answers and I hope we see a lizard baby.
An actual lizard baby. You're talking about scales on this baby's skin.
Like Rhaego.
Well, we don't know if Rhaego has scales on him.
Well, I hope we see something. I hope we see the deformity that. So it's said that Targaryens can. Well, it's not said. They often do have these babies that are like half dragon, half human.
That's the rumor.
Don't survive. It's a rumor.
But they also said that when Tyrion Lannister was born, that he had a tail and everything else, and that turned out not to be true. It was just a rumor, so we don't know. It could have been a rumor just like that.
Really?
Yeah, because then Oberyn said that in the show too. He's like, when I heard when you were born that you had a tail and everything else, but when I looked, that wasn't the case, blah, blah. So it's rumors. People just be making stuff. So we don't know for it to be true, but we'll see if it's true. It's quite possible that it could be. This is a fantasy world, and I would like to see her, you know what I mean, come out and push out a little reptile, a little chameleon come out of there. You know what I mean? But we'll see if that's the case.
I love it. I'd love to see it. Thank you for the super chat, the Polish pothead. I like your screen name. Thank you for the super chat. I think Aegon went to the White Worm to escape King's Landing, but she sold him out to the Hand. Can't wait for tonight's finale. I don't think he necessarily was trying to escape because he didn't know Viserys was dead.
No. And he's having too much fun fucking everything. He could fuck raping chicks, doing everything. He can't do that and get away with that anywhere else. So
Yeah.
he's not giving all that up at all.
But I do think he was genuine when he told Aemond, like, put me on a ship, get me out of here. Like, you can have the throne.
Yeah, he don't want the responsibility of being king. I
No.
think he thinks it's a boring lifestyle. He'd rather just be second born, be a playboy. He'd rather be what Daemon is, right? That's what Daemon gets to do. Daemon gets to get to the brothels and fuck everything and do it without the responsibilities of making all these decisions and everything else. He don't want that. He don't want those responsibilities. He just want to go out and just live his life. And that's it. So I believe that's what he's about that. But I don't think he's trying to give up being a royal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he just like what you're saying, I agree. Like, he doesn't want the responsibility. I think Aemond does, like, because the scene where Queen Alicent comes in and she's talking to Helena, and Helena's like, when someone has something, the other one is going to naturally want it. And then Aemond actually comes in on that conversation. I think Aemond wants it. Like,
Aemond was ready. He was ready to marry his sister. He's like, I'll marry her. Yeah. I'll take her. I'll do my duty. I'm with that life. I'm about it. You hear him say, I studied the histories. I'm the better sword fighter. I'm the one who deserves to be king. You know, and usually that's what you get with second sons. I mean, we can go back to, as we talked a little Game of Thrones about Stannis Baratheon. If you look at who's better suited to be king, it would be Stannis Baratheon. But Robert Baratheon wanted to go around just like Aemond, want to go whoring, want to sleep with everybody. He don't want to deal with the politics. He don't want to deal with the budget. And that's why King's Landing got all fucked up. Stannis is better suited. He ain't going whoring. He's going to take it seriously and everything else. And that's, the parallel between us. The second son always seems to be better suited. But because you're the second son, you don't get it.
Oh, somebody asked in the chat, what's the co-host name? His name is Tony Teflon. You can find his channel, The Don Tony Teflon. He does live streams. You cover a lot of shows, right?
We do. I cover a lot of shows. Crazy that people don't know me, but I know we got a lot of mods in there that I'm down with. Can you please put the link to my channel in here? It's Teflon TV. I've said Gray will be on. We're going live at 6:30 for the pregame show. It'll be a call-in pregame show. So anybody here, people, I see people hating in there. Some of y'all, at least one dude was hating. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can come on that stream and you can call in and say it to my face, because I'm about that life. And we'll listen to everything you got to say. And if I got to put you on blast, I'll put you on blast. And that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? But Teflon TV is the name of the channel. You're looking for the name of the channel.
Also, Tara says, a wise woman once said Aemond is the Sheehan version of Daemon. He is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the better version. You know what I mean? Than Daemon, I think. I don't think Aemond would make a bad king if you had to choose between them. I think he'd be more just in his
for sure.
rule. You know what I mean? I don't think he would be. You don't see him going around raping chicks or doing nothing like that. You know what I mean? You don't see him doing anything like that. You don't see him going out drinking and doing no crazy stuff like that. I think if you had to really put him out there, I think that he would be a much better king.
He says that. He says that in this episode. He says, I'm the one studying histories and philosophies. I thought that was funny.
He would definitely be there without a shadow of a doubt. You know what I mean? Much better king than anyone else than he would be. And
we have our other guest, Phil, the issues guy, I think.
Yeah, it takes him a second. He's just setting up right now.
Okay, so Phil's setting up his stuff, but after the episode, Phil does a after show. Yep. So after episode 10 goes off, Phil will be live on his channel. And any mods in the chat, if you could link Tony and Phil's channel, I would appreciate it so much.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. Even though I'm the Homelander here, and I'm a pretty detestable human being. And I do want to add to something that Tony was saying while I'm still setting up. I think Aegon's even more like early Tyrion than Daemon, because I don't even think he wants the responsibility to get into any fights or do anything. I think he just wants to drink and whore. So I think I agree with your point, but I think he's even a step further down that path to the point where he's like a Lannister wannabe, where he just wants to drink and have fun and live in all the whorehouses and stuff. That's how little he wants to be king. But I agree with both of you that in the Aemond that we've seen in the episodes up to this point, he seems like he would be a far better king.
Yeah, he would.
Anyone who jerks off out the window should not be king. I mean, that should be a disclaimer. That should be a disqualifier.
Disqualifier. You just nutted on all of King's Landing. You can't.
Yeah, you gotta go. You can't hold the weight. It's time to go. You know what I mean? That would have been it. His mom should have seen that right then and be like, nah, it ain't it for you, son. It ain't it for you.
So we have a super chat from Vincent. Thank you for the super chat. How do I get a Be More chick, Gray? LOL. Hashtag status all day. I don't know, Vincent. I have no idea.
I'll tell you how to get Be More chick. First, you gotta go to Be More. All right. You gotta show up to Be More and tell them that you a fan of The Wire or you were in the show The Wire. Right? That's all you gotta say.
They ain't going for that.
They do.
They go for that? Oh, okay,
yeah, just go in there and be like, I was in The Wire, girl. You didn't see me? You were in The Wire. Yeah.
I was an extra. I was on the corner eating a chicken box, salt, pepper, ketchup.
I was up in this, girl. You should have seen me. That's it.
We have another super chat from Kristen. Crazy how they got an actor who looked so similar to Matt Smith, considering how he has such a unique face.
So you're talking about Aemond. I agree that he definitely has a unique face. Both of them do. You know what I mean? Without a shadow of a doubt.
They do. I definitely think they're like the mini-me versions of each other. Like Daemon is the Eminem. Daemon's the Eminem, and Aemond is the Stan, writing the fucking letters and recording tapes and sending him all kinds of stuff. But I mean, I don't dislike Aemond. Like, I dislike the things that he does. And it's kind of like the same with Daemon. Like, everybody's always like, Daemon is so bad. How can you stand him, Gray? Like, how can you stand him the way that you do? Because first of all, they're all fucking war criminals. Like, they're all fucking bad. Yep. So you just pick the one that you like the best. And for me, I like the one that does the worst shit. And I also I sympathize with Daemon a lot because I know that he kind of just wanted love from Viserys and approval from Viserys and acceptance from Viserys and trust from Viserys. And he never got it. He never got it. No matter what he did, he never got it. So I sympathize with him. But I don't think we should talk about you're not going to find a moral high ground with any character. The one you probably could have found a moral high ground with, Lord Beesbury, he just got killed.
Yeah, he got a pool cue through his head by Crispy. I mean, and that's a great point. I mean, in certain stories, in the wider Game of Thrones stories, people can make the arguments of, was Ned a good father? Are the Starks good people? And XYZ, and pick these characters here. In this particular story, in this Targaryen, and this isn't about liking House Targaryen or not liking House Targaryen. We got a bunch of sketchy people. I'm
sorry. I'm just like, if you move your head over a little bit, you can link up with this body underneath you.
Hey Tony, you want to go hang out later?
We have a super chat. Thank you to Berkeley Beauty. Thank you for the super chat.
That's perfect right there. You got it. You moved it to there. You go. That's perfect.
So, hi everybody.
Oh my goodness, you guys are crazy. I knew we were gonna have fun. I knew we were gonna have fun. I knew because all my debacles with the episode 9 breakdown that I was gonna have to deliver to y'all a live stream to keep you guys hype. And I brought 2 of my favorites. So make sure you check out Tony's pre-show and Phil's after show.
I even have the original Direwolf City song on cue right now to play it if we had to.
Maybe on the way out.
On the way out, yeah, the outro.
On the way out.
The outro.
Yes, got it right there.
The one that you saw.
Oh yeah, the one I recorded where I sang horribly and stuff like that. It's bad.
We're definitely playing that on the outro. Also, if you didn't know, I do Direwolf City live streams every Monday on the YouTube channel Direwolf City with Alicia, Ara, and Mandy. We just moved it to another channel. We've been doing it all season. And a lot of you guys have been over there. Let's catch up on some super chats real quick. Thank you for the super chat, Louis Malim. If anyone thinks this has a happy ending, they haven't been paying attention. Yeah, I don't think it doesn't have a happy ending. I think everyone kind of knows that. Yep. But I do think there's a lot of room to have a very intriguing and very interesting ending.
I would agree with that. And I also want to add something that you were saying earlier. I think it's just also fun to root for, at least for me, I'm in a similar way with characters. My favorite characters are sometimes the scummiest characters. They're not real people. I wouldn't hang out with Garrick from Deep Space Nine, or I'm just pointing out like horrible people, or Barney Stinson on How I Met Your Mother. But they're my favorite characters to actually watch because it's fun to watch horrible people on television. They're not real. They're characters.
For sure. They're not real people. It's not like we're like, oh, because I had said like Daemon killed his wife and people were like, you support Daemon, he killed his wife. And I'm like, so I don't care.
Yeah, it's a character.
Like it's not a real, like it's not a real person. It's a story.
If you're on Netflix, right, and you're watching the Jeffrey Dahmer show or whatever documentary or whatever the show is,
that's different.
And you're cheering for Jeffrey Dahmer, then there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, then you got problems.
Yeah,
that's something wrong with you. Then
learn your history.
Wrong with you inside, right? This is not that.
This show has dragons. Yeah, this show it takes place in a this show.
Let's not put it like that and everything else.
And to go back to what we were talking about with this scene with Beesbury and the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, you're telling me after the third person that Crispy just attacks and kills, he just gets they finally pull the sword out at him. I would have just taken Crispy's head off right there. Give me a break.
Sir Harold Westerling has been watching him. I will say that. Like he's been watching Crispin Cole. I'm not calling him Christian. Not calling him.
I'm calling him Crispy.
Crispin. He's been watching Crispin. I think it was episode 6. Well, the funeral was episode 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
So episode 6, like a lot of Crispin's bullshit was showing through, and Harold Westerling kept side-eyeing him. And I think like he's been watching him. But killing Lord Beesbury was like the last straw for him. It was the last straw for him. And I feel like he probably did want to kill Crispin right there. But it was kind of like he can't because Crispin is on everyone else's side and he was outnumbered. It was very much, it gave me Barristan Selmy vibes.
Yeah,
definitely did. But I will say this. If you are trying to keep a secret, and you're willing to lock up everyone, why did you just let this man walk out? I mean, you should have bagged him up too. Obviously, you know right now he's not on your side. He ain't down with you. You done locked up everyone. You locked up Rhaenys. You locked up the damn cook, the guy who cleans the pots, the toilet bowl. Everyone got locked up. You locked up everybody that is the dentist, the
butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker.
Everyone was gone. But you're going to let this dude just be like, all right, peace out, I'm out. And not even try to stop him?
Yeah. It was.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, it was a hot mess. It didn't really make sense. But then again, it does make sense because he didn't say, like, you guys are traitors. You guys are, this is treason. This is, I won't support this. He basically said, I serve the king. And until you have one, I don't have a place here. So he basically didn't say, I won't support Aegon. He's just like, once you crown him, then I'll come back. But I think he's gone. He got to be on his way to Dragonstone.
Now, do you think this is a hard question because Beesbury, God bless his little soul there. Did he just not have the three-dimensional thinking to know to shut the hell up? Even the Maester is like telling him, because the Maester doesn't seem like he's on the side either. He's just like, Beesbury, shut up. Just shut your damn mouth right there. And then Crispin, like Mike Myers, stands behind him. And it's like, dude, just shut. Like do you think it was a Vaemond thing where like if he was going to go out, he was going out screaming, or he just didn't even conceptualize what was going on there?
I don't think he conceptualized what was going on. But I also think a lot of these characters, the good ones, like the Ned Starks and the Lord Beesburys, I don't think they really understand what people are capable of. You know what I mean? When you play the Game of Thrones, it's so true that you win or you die. Like, there is no in between. And people like Lord Beesbury and people like Ned Stark, they don't have a place in the Game of Thrones because they actually have like some type of moral compass. And also, like, the previous episode, he was so out of the loop. Like, he didn't understand why. Like, he's like, why would it even be a question? Lucerys is the rightful son of Lord Beesbury. I mean, of Laenor Valerian. Why are y'all even doing this?
I also kind of have somewhat of a dumb question. Someone said that the Maester was in it. I bet the Maester was in it, but he didn't want to see Beesbury get killed there. Why did they even invite Beesbury to that meeting? Like, I would have figured that maybe Otto and all of them would figure that he'd be too old-fashioned to go down that road, and everyone else in that circle was in on the plan except for him. You would think that they wouldn't have even invited him to sit at that table. At least that was just a perspective that went through my mind.
I think when you deal with Beesbury, you're dealing with a high lord. This dude ain't used to no one laying hands on him.
Mm-hmm.
He don't think no one gonna lay hands on him. This dude who runs shit, right? That's like if they had a meeting with the president and everyone else and they all at the table, they gonna say they mind. That's all he know. He old on top of that. So he gonna speak his mind. He ain't thinking dude gonna come behind him and bust his head on a pool ball.
Yeah.
They don't think anyone gonna do that to him. So he
especially a Knight of the Kingsguard. Like, a Knight of the Kingsguard is supposed to be like this upstanding, I serve the king, I'm one of the best warriors in Westeros, I'm this, I'm that. For you to like kill an old man behind his back, you're such a fucking bitch, Crispin. I hate you. I hope you die.
There's no way around.
It was a coward. It was like a coward, douchey move right there. Like, oh, you big tough guy, you're slamming Beesbury's head into the ground, and then the look in his face as he faced his boss. That was what I would have cut his head off if I was the Lord of the Kingsguard, just from the way he was looking at him when he pulled his sword on him. Like, come on, boss, fuck you. Like, I'll do what I want.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you did. You're fine.
No, I was just gonna say, do you know what it reminded me of? That episode. I know you guys love Stannis, and I'm like indifferent when it comes to Stannis. But one thing I have never forgiven Stannis for is killing Sir Courtney Penrose with the Shadow Baby, and that's kind of what it reminded me of with Crispin. Like,
I don't think we can say that's the same exact thing. That Lord Courtney Penrose got what he got coming to him. You know what I mean? This is a different situation.
Leave Courtney Penrose's name out your mouth.
That's
Get
what I have
Courtney
to say.
Penrose's head on your goddamn.
Yeah, I love Courtney Penrose. But let me get to some of these super chats because you guys are going crazy in the super chats. Amber Violet, thank you for the super chat. Girl, I tweeted you about this already, but I'm still not over Crispin Cole getting no pushback for his actions. And that's kind of like what we were just talking about. Yeah, like he should have been killed by now.
On the spot.
He should have been killed by now.
Yep.
On the spot.
Right when he got into the fist fight at the party and he punched Laenor. Like right at that point, he punched a prince essentially, and he should have been killed right there and then.
And brutally killed a high lord.
Yep.
Like you brutally killed a noble lord, and you're like a Kingsguard member. Like, what the fuck? Yep. We also have a super chat from Pink Leslie Reviews. Thank you for the super chat question. Family, are we taking House of the Dragon as truth over the books?
There's two ways to look at it, all right? So there was two different things. Hey now. So there's two different ways to look at it, right? So George in the interview did say that this was canon. But then later on, with other people that interviewed him, he backtracked and said that they're two separate canons. So I guess it's up to you how you want to take it. If you want to say it's canon or not, that's really up to you. Don't let other people make up your mind for you, I would say. Because this is the way I see it. When it fits somebody's theory, it's canon. When it don't, it's not. And that's the way dudes be treating this shit. And that's the truth. Anyone say anything different, lying. All right. If I predicted it, yeah, that's gotta be it. Nope. Don't go on my shit. No, I ain't canon. That's the way motherfuckers be keeping it and stuff like that. So it really is up to you.
I agree. It is up to you. I treat it separate. So I treat it separate only because I feel like Fire and Blood isn't meant to be canon. Like Fire and Blood is written from the unreliable narrator point of view, where you have multiple people conflicting stories. I've never read the Fire and Blood and been like, oh, I take all of this at face value, because you have to take into consideration who they're writing these history books for. A World of Ice and Fire is written for Joffrey. So they're going to, of course, say nice things about House Baratheon and bad things about House Stark and things like that. So I look at a woman being the first ever to try to ascend the Iron Throne, and we have two men, one a maester and one a septon, both based in Old Town, and we have a court fool who the way he does shit is like, whatever is the most crazy, I'm gonna say it. The most depraved shit is what I'm gonna say. And that's basically who he is. Mushroom is basically like the more depraved, the better. So I don't expect them to say nice things about Rhaenyra. I don't expect them to paint Rhaenyra in a nice light. I don't expect them to paint the blacks at all in a nice light, or even Daemon, which we have seen a lot change when it comes to Fire and Blood, when it comes to Daemon. So I have never I've always taken it as propaganda, anti-feminist propaganda towards Rhaenyra. So that's how I've always taken Fire and Blood. So I think it's not for you to figure out what happened and what didn't happen as as fact. It's for you to read it and for you to decide on your own.
Yeah, that's what I would take it.
Fire and Blood, House of the Dragon, though, I feel like it is canon for the show and for Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
the Game of Thrones show.
I would agree with that. Can we move to Clubfoot, because I see people putting feet.
Hold on, guys. I have to introduce my Sun and Stars, or Moon of My Life. So I have a special guest coming on, and it's Quinn from Ideas of Ice and Fire.
Back? What's up?
Hey, Quinn.
Can y'all hear me? What's up?
Yeah, we can hear you.
What's going on, baby?
Nothing much. Just chilling.
So glad you could make it.
How was everybody?
Good. How you
absolutely
doing?
Right.
I saw your message super late.
It's okay. That's why I sent you the link. I was like, I'll just send it. If he wants to come, he can come.
I told you he was sleeping. I told you.
Yeah, Cali time.
Like he out. He ain't waking up this early. It's too early for him.
Oh no.
So we have Quinn with us, and I'm sure you guys know who Quinn is. He's Quinn from Quinn's Ideas. He covers a lot of Song of Ice and Fire, some of the best of Song of Ice and Fire content, and some of the best sci-fi content on YouTube. Please check out his channel. Please.
Number one dude on YouTube.
And his comic book.
Motherfuckers. No.
Yeah, for real, motherfuckers. And his comic book, you can see it back here. I have the hard print right here.
Oh my God.
His comic book, Tadia. Make sure you read it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that plug.
Yes, you already. Okay, so let's get back to Super Chats real quick, and then we're going to keep breaking down this episode. So, Lone Starborn, thank you for the Super Chat. Love y'all. House of the Dragon wouldn't be the same without y'all. Appreciate all your magic y'all send out to this world. I will be sipping on my Game of Thrones 2015 Cabernet Sauvignon in honor of my pops. Hashtag Valar Morghulis, Fire and Blood.
I think they meant Cabernet.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
They spelled it wrong, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because she's drinking.
Pour up. Yes.
What happens? You be drinking.
Pour up. So, Quinn, since you're just joining us, what did you think about episode 9?
I enjoyed this episode, but I feel like this episode was probably probably like one of the weaker episodes this season, I feel like, just in general. But I thought it was still really good. Like, I feel like all of these episodes have been really like high quality.
Yeah, they have been, and I think we're all on the same page. Phil, did I get your overall?
I would just kind of be repeating exactly what Quinn just said. I think all the episodes have been good this season. I've enjoyed them. They've been good television episodes. The last one was probably, all in all, my least favorite, but I don't know if that's because episode 8 was my favorite. So coming off episode 8, my expectations and my interest and my excitement was so high, but it wasn't a bad episode by any way, shape, or form. It's just compared to the rest, if I'm making a ranking as you would have to, it would be near the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Well, I thought the ending, I really enjoyed the ending with Rhaenys and the dragon and all that. But it did also seem like a very like late stage Game of Thrones type ending, where it's just like, and then the dragon shows up, right?
Yeah.
Like we've seen that trope a bunch of times, but I really enjoyed it still. So
yeah, I did enjoy it. I like what they're doing with Fire and Blood for House of the Dragon. But yeah, that it wasn't my favorite, but it was still a good episode. Thank you for the super chat, Arthur Morris. Crispin listens to Drake songs at night in the dark while sobbing and sniffing Rhaenyra's old underclothes. I gotta agree.
I buy it.
He definitely looks like a guy who has sex with his socks on. No doubt. No doubt.
When he said to Aemond, so when they're in this city and they go to like the brothel and there's like this lady there and Aemond's like, yeah, so this is where Aegon brought me because he wanted me to get it wet for the first time. And Crispin's like, women are the image of the mother and should be talked about with nothing but reverence. And I'm like, unless she's Rhaenyra. And she didn't want to run away with you on an orange crate.
He called her something crazy in that one episode. He was like, she's a fucking bitch or something.
Or spoiled cunt. Spoiled cunt.
I mean,
she's a spoiled cunt.
I mean, she worked him. I mean, listen, she got the whop. I mean, because this dude, she worked him. She worked him. I mean, I don't know how many times they did it, but if it was just that one time, but maybe they did it a couple more times, but if it was just that or a couple, she worked his ass. Whatever she did, Milly Alcock moved that ass on him, boy. Because I've never seen nobody pussy whip like that.
I don't think I don't think that's what it was about per se. Like, I don't think it could have been that shallow, but I kind of thought like he was in love with her. He was in love with her. And like, she didn't like to him, it was worth it. Like to him, to have sex with her and soil his cloak and break his vow, it was worth it. But to her, like, it just wasn't that deep.
I think it was partially love and partially him feeding his ego that she would even think about giving up what she was to get for him and that she was so involved in him. So when she just basically laughed at his whole, let's go to Essos and go off together, like, you're nothing. Like, I wouldn't give up all of this. I think that definitely hurt him. I don't know if I understand why you're saying the love thing, because I think in his mind he did, but I think it's with him, it's a lot more about the being a narcissistic person and what that meant to him to have her make those choices.
Yeah.
I think that he did.
Yeah, quick.
I was going to say, I think that he probably did like love her in his mind, but I think really where that bitterness comes from is the fact that he feels like his like honor has been defiled somehow. And it is also an ego thing because he knows that everyone else knows what happened. So it's like, I don't know. I think he like lashes out because he feels less because of what happened. Right.
Yeah.
And when he was on the boat, ain't no one know but them. You know, and she like, listen, we can still get. No, you gotta marry me. You gotta be with me. I can't just be a whore. What have you been?
Yeah.
You've been the whole time, motherfucker. Now, why all of a sudden you catching feelings right now?
Shut up, Crispy, and do your job.
It made no sense. This is what you did.
I don't fault him, right, for not wanting to be used. I don't fault him for not wanting to be used, right? So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt there. What my issue with him is after she rejects you, you go tell Allison. and you like swear this oath to hate her forever just because she doesn't want to be with you in the same capacity that you want to be with her, when technically you could just still be her friend. You don't have to fuck her. You don't have to be her whore, but you could still be her friend because like she's confided in you for many years about like her, like she doesn't have it. She feels like she doesn't have anybody. And like they had that whole conversation where she kills the boar and all that stuff. And it's kind of like, oh, just because she doesn't want to be with you, fuck her. I'm going to go sell her secrets to her enemies for free.
Yeah.
And ruin her wedding.
He needs Alicent because he can like project the antithesis of Rhaenyra onto Alicent. He's like, everything that I hate about Rhaenyra now because like she like won't like love me and like sail across the 7 seas and get married. Like Alicent is the opposite of that. So I can love all those things because like she's the exact opposite of Rhaenyra. She's pious. She doesn't sleep around all this yada yada yada. Yeah.
All right.
So he needs like this figurehead to be like, okay, this is the maiden. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see it.
I agree with that. Like he kind of does. Like when she comes into the Godswood in that episode where he's like about to like unalive himself and she comes into the Godswood, he looks at her like he's just seen the Virgin Mary. Like he's just seen the mother has come to him in the flesh and has led him astray from the stranger. But I don't know. I hate his fucking guts.
The chat is cracking me up. There's so much anticipation for foot talk right now.
All right, I want to talk about this thing too, because it's a little bit crazy to me when dealing with this whole, you know, I will pimp my feet out. You know,
I will.
For I'll pimp my. Now I understand that.
Show me the loot. If anyone
show
wants
me the money.
Show me the money, Gray. I'm with you.
If she wants to pimp out her feet for information, that's fine. But this is what I don't understand. What I don't understand about that whole situation is this. This motherfucker started jerking off. Now, I like to jerk off. There's nothing wrong with jerking off. But I don't like that type of jerk. That was a dry jerk. That was no, he had
underneath
nothing.
The cloak.
What did he do? What did he do? Did he have Vaseline somewhere that I didn't see?
It was rough.
It was rough.
In his hand? I mean, that's not the type of jerk I like.
Not on the main?
Not for me. That was just some straight dry whacking.
The silent nod from Quinn and
I don't like a dry whacking. That's not my style, man. The Don don't get down like that. You know, you can do what you gotta do. So I also understand how he was able to pull that off. And
it was weird. He's a weird guy.
How do you approach the queen about that motherfucker? How do you say to, hey, listen, hey, I'd like to jerk off to your feet once in a while. How do you say that to the queen? I couldn't say that to the goddamn McDonald's worker.
Tony, that's an interesting thing. Like, how did the first time happen? That wasn't the first. Similar to when Alicent walked in on Aegon jerking off the window, you could tell it wasn't the first time she'd seen that. You could tell this wasn't the first time we got a little jerk.
Let's use a different word for that. Let's say yes. I don't want YouTube coming for my neck.
Oh, I mean, I don't know what other word you could do.
Just say J off.
Enjoying themselves.
J off.
Yeah, this dude J offing. You know what I mean? It reminded me of this whole situation. I met this Jamaican cat once back in the day at my job, and this one chick I was seeing, he liked that from back in the day. He was like, "Hey, yo, man, she's got a nice ass. You got to hit her in the ass for me." And I was like, "Dude, I don't know if I could pull that off." And he goes, "Listen, brother, what you have to do is you take some gel and you stick it behind your ear." All right. And then when you're not looking, you put it to your thumb. And then that's how I was like, dude, you've been in prison. How'd you come up with that shit?
All right.
I heard anyone putting gel behind their ear. I was like, maybe this dude has some gel behind his ear. And that's how he was able to pull this shit off. That's the only way I could see it going down like that. But I don't see how he would be able to approach a queen that I want to jerk off to your foot. When I first seen her taking off her shoes, I was like, all right, maybe she's just a little tired. It's been a long day. And then all of a sudden, when they showed the close-up and stuff, I was like, something's going on here. Something I ain't never seen before. And then that was it. And then all of a sudden, he started touching himself. And that's some stuff I ain't never witnessed on a TV show in my life.
I think he initially probably like wanted more. And then he also has a foot fetish. So she was like, no, but I'll show you my feet. Probably right. He was probably like, "Oh, you gonna let me hit?" And then she was like, "No." No,
This is
like,
as
okay,
far as
let's see
I'll
the
go.
feet.
Like right this.
Let me see the feet instead.
Oh
Yeah, but also,
God.
honestly, it was definitely a weird scene, but it's no weirder than like the random weird sexual things that'll happen in Song of Ice and like just random shit that is just like, okay,
Weirdness.
George, like, thank you for that.
I wouldn't have a fetish when my foot's fucked up. You know, when your foot's that fucked up, why are you?
All right, moving on. Moving
else?
on. Moving
I
on.
don't get it.
Moving on. Let's get past it.
I just don't get it, me personally, but it is what it is, man.
Moving on. DM me with Cash Apps if you want to see my feet pic, starting at $2,000. Starting at $2,000.
Moving on.
The actor that plays
moving
Larry
on.
slides into your
Moving on.
DMs.
Moving on. Thank you for Taba Heaton for becoming a member of my channel. Thank you so much. Also, thank you to Sip for the super chat. So the beasts under the board are boards the same as concrete. So do you think when Helena is saying there's beasts under the boards, do you think that's Meleys?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what
100. It always, every time that she says something, it usually happens in that episode or the following episode. So there's nothing that she said that's happened 3-4 episodes down the line. It's always happened instantly that episode or the next episode. So that being the fact that you would have to say that was the beast under the boards.
I still think it could be. I don't think Helena would see a dragon as a beast because she's the writer of Dreamfire. So why would she say like a dragon under the boards? Why a beast?
I just wrote something in the private chat. I kind of agree with you too. I just don't want to say it.
Oh, is it a spoiler? I can't see the private chat because I'm
That's
tracking.
What it says.
I can see it. It said us.
Oh yeah, that's what I think.
Bologna and cheese sandwich.
That's what I think. And I will say, if you don't know, if you haven't read Fire and Blood, then you know, then you don't know what I'm talking about. You can Google it if you want to spoil it for yourself. But if you have read Fire and Blood, I think, and Phil thinks it's a reference to blood and cheese. I think it's specifically a reference to cheese because I don't think Helena would see any animal as a beast. I think it's a person, a human that she's referring
Real
to.
beast or people.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that explanation. Mm-hmm.
We also have another super chat from the vegan Berkeley Beauty. Thank you for the super chat. Glad to see you tonight, Gray. I started to get a little worried. Love your content and your perspective on Daemon. Just bought a new Jeep and named him Sweet Summer Child. I love that. Thank you so much. So favorite part of the episode for everybody, was it Meleys busting through the floor? Or something else?
It's hard for me to even say I had a favorite part of this episode, to tell you the truth.
If you take Meleys out, if you take Meleys busting through the floor out, what would be your favorite?
I enjoyed the coronation scene because we've never seen that on screen. So it was really like cool to see like all the small folk like being rushed through the streets and they're all gathering at the sept and like rushing in. I thought that was cool. Because we've heard that type of thing described. It's always like just like a side thing. So-and-so was coronated at this point in time. But it's cool to see it, right? And it's also, I like the way it was also filmed. And just the way it was shot, the sound design, everything. Because it was just like almost like it was like trying to be like, okay, there's so much farce in this. This is such bullshit. Can you see how bullshit this is? Look at these stupid horns that we're blowing. These dumb swords. Yeah. So I like that.
I guess I would say, I mean, taking away the dragon thing at the end, I liked Aemond a lot in this episode, just him in general as a character. Like the moment when he was holding his brother down, you could see the look in his face. Like if Crispy doesn't come back, I might let him go in that boat. All of that I thought was pretty well done. And this is going to seem like I don't mean this in a good way. I mean this in a bad way. I liked seeing how Otto can continuously be more creepy and awful in every episode, even to the point where it connected to episode 1 or 2 when he tells Alicent to dress in the mother's dress. And I felt it was like super creepy because he was like being like, dress up like I found your mother sexy. And in this episode, when she tells him what's what, his response to all of that is to look at her in a really creepy way and go, you remind me of your mother. And I just thought for whatever
in certain lights,
it was so creepy. And I like that moment of showing continuously how Otto just keeps making me go, ugh. Like every episode, somehow he makes me go, ugh. And he did it again. And I have to, I guess, compliment the actor I didn't like the situation, but from an acting standpoint, I enjoyed the acting choice. It's consistent to everything else we've seen with him.
Yes.
Gross.
Tony?
I cannot think of a favorite scene. I don't think I've had it as a favorite scene of mine for this whole thing. Not for this episode. There's no favorite. I thought the episode was mediocre to me. It was, I would probably give it a 6 across the board for everything that it did. I mean, the dragon coming through the boards, to me, I'm sure everyone's like, oh, she should have set them all on fire and called it a day right then, you know what I mean? But is it really her call to do that? And people complain, oh, she killed a bunch of small folk when she did it. Yeah, she did. I don't know. It was there's nothing in here that was groundbreaking for me to say that it was my favorite part. I think everything was just even keel.
Go ahead, Quinn.
No, I was just gonna say I have yet to hear like an actual good reason why Rhaenys didn't kill them. You know what I mean? I feel like you can say like, oh, it's kinslaying and all this, but I feel like so many problems will be solved if she just did it.
Yeah, the two reasons that she's given, I respected her as a mother, and it was not my fight. I don't buy either of those.
Yeah, I feel like she just would have did it, but I don't know.
Yeah, if I was her, I would have did it.
Yep.
But then we could have Frodo if she did it.
But
I get it.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah,
I
think to me it was, kinslaying is a big deal in Westeros, and she's not just kinslaying one cousin. It's like 4 cousins up there, so she did kinslayed like 4 people. But I also don't know if she really fully supports Rhaenyra.
Yeah, that's the question. Mm-hmm.
Because she's still thinking like, oh, like she killed my son.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, she's not sure about Rhaenyra 100% at all.
So the Miss, thank you for the super chat. I thought Alicent was reluctantly implicit in her son being king. I just thought she was mortified that they planned to assassinate her husband's daughter and her former best friend. I mean, what the fuck did she think?
Yeah, that's a little naive. Yeah, it is naive of her to think that. And I mean,
and she's not naive, and that's why it's like book Alicent is not naive.
Not Olivia Cooke's Alicent. I mean, you could say that about the first portrayal of Alicent we saw in the first half of the season. She could have seemed naive, but since Olivia Cooke took over this part, there's a sense of knowledge or understanding of the whole situation. And if she just made up with Rhaenyra at the dinner party when they both did the toasts, up until that point, she must have still been really I mean, she tried to stab her. So she can't be completely. And Otto said to her right before that situation, "Oh, you have what it takes to win this now." And seriously, like the hell with that guy. But like, but yeah. So I don't buy that either, Gray. I don't buy that she wouldn't be completely aware of things. She seems aware.
Yeah.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think she's aware, but I think also the truth is people like compartmentalize, you know what I mean, and they spend years like really like honing in on like one thing. So she's been very focused on like just like this bitterness for so long, and it's kind of been like razor focused. Like I hate Rhaenyra for these reasons, and also like we got to acknowledge that Otto, like you said, fuck Otto. He's been planting these seeds for so long, right? Like Rhaenyra, like he's basically been telling her this whole time, like, when Rhaenyra becomes queen, your kids are going to die. So you saw she like freaked out after the king died. She's like looking at her like grandkids and her kids like, oh my God, they're all about to be killed. So like, although like I really like, I don't like Rhaenyra and I think that she's made a lot of bad decisions. I also see like where she's coming from, and I see that she's been put in a really, really tough position. Like she never like really like wanted to be married to the king, right? Like I mean, I feel like Otto was all like, oh, I gave you this great position and yada yada yada, but you also put this like giant target on her back and gave her like all of this responsibility that's like really difficult to like run a freaking kingdom, and especially in King's Landing. You got your daughter in King's Landing. That's a snake pit. But yeah, I feel like, not to be like both sides, but I feel like I do see both sides a little bit. And there's like some issues that I have with Rhaenyra too, but we don't need to get in that right now.
But that's what they're trying to do, right? That's what they're trying to do for this season. They're trying to make you say that you could be agreeing and you could see her side, or you could see Rhaenyra's side, because there are two sides to every coin. It's just, who do you think deserves to be on the throne at the end? As again, you can say the king set words is what it is. But if you want to go by that, again, if you're a Ned Stark's fan, then you can't go by that, because the king, Rob Baratheon, gave his words and Ned changed the words for him, right? He said specifically, my son Joffrey, and he changed it to win the heir.
But so, Joffrey wasn't his son.
Doesn't matter. The king believed it to be. So this is what he wanted. So it doesn't matter. It's just like Corlys wants these kids to take over Driftmark. Even if he doesn't know it's his son. That's what he wants. That's what you get. That was his wish. And that was the whole thing about it. That was what Corlys wanted. And that was the whole thing with Aemond, right? Are you going to go by what this dude said or not? So you can't have be on that side here, not Aemond's side the same way. Because they're kicking the same thing here.
But Ned knew, if Robert knew that was Jaime's kid, Robert wouldn't say that. Why didn't tell him? Because he didn't want to dishonor his last hours. Because Ned was an idiot. That's why he didn't know.
Then, if you ain't gonna tell him, right? If you ain't gonna tell him, then you gotta go by what he's saying, or open your mouth. You know what I mean? You can't just wait for this dude to die and then try to usurp the throne after. Because it's not his kid. You need to tell him the truth right then. That's your boy. The truth hurts sometimes. Let him know what's going down. I mean, none of this stuff happens. You know what I mean? So, but when it comes down to it, to me, as Quinn said, they both are at fault. But it comes down to who you think. The king said his daughter, but just like Cersei Lannister said, she ripped that shit right up in their face and said, "You got a new king now." Just like they got a new king now, Aegon.
Yeah. And the truth is, like the truth is, Rhaenyra's children are bastards, right?
Laenor
so that's why Alicent
Laenor Valerian's children.
But that's why Alicent has this righteous indignation, because she's like, that is a factual truth that everybody knows. So it's like she feels this righteous indignation because of that. But then it's obvious it's a lot more complicated. Like her grandkids are probably not. There's a whole thing with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she disrespected it by, listen, this is what it is, all right? If you want to have an affair, make a deal, like, hey, I'm going to have an affair with this dude, you go see your man, I'm going to go see this dude. But there's no need to have this man put it in you and leaving it in you and not pulling out and having all these kids. You know what I mean? That's on you. You knew that would put you at risk and your family at risk by doing that. You should have been smarter. You should have at least got some black man down there to finish it off.
What if I've been saying this the whole time? I've been saying, why didn't you get somebody from the Summer Islands? Like, why are you doing it with the whitest person possible or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, you got to at least do something here. So the fact that you did that, Rhaenyra definitely got lots to be blamed for. I'm doing a video when this is all said and done. My next video will be, I will put who is to blame for this whole Dance of Dragons will be my video. I've been working on it. It's the first video I ever wrote a script for, ever, in all my years on YouTube. So we're going to be dropping that, and I'm going to give you, for real. And I'm going to give you all the truth of exactly who truly is to blame for this whole situation.
And real quick, I'm going to run through some super chats because I'm really behind on the super chats. Thank you, Felicia Webster, for becoming a member. Also, thank you, Luna Cascade. Thank you for the super chat. Wow, appreciate all of y'all. Did I miss it? Thank you for the super chat, UDL Tube. I think I missed one. Someone was saying that I missed one. I'm not sure. Thank you, Sean. Sending love from Columbia, Maryland. Could one of you explain who Gaiman Palehair is, and do they have an important role in the upcoming war? So they were saying that the baby in the pit, people were suspecting that he's Gaiman Palehair. Anyone want to take that while I search for these super chats?
I think the baby in the pit was just to show that he has bastards around, and I don't know if it's a name bastard or anything. In the IMBD credits, there's no name for that actor when they show it. It's just baby. So
you're right. They were just trying to show the audience that like they're saying Rhaenyra can't be queen because she has bastard children, but then this guy has bastard children. Yeah. So it's like it's a sexist division. It's a sexist dichotomy.
Rian says, I just want Larys and his damn foot fetish gone. Thank you for the super chat. I want Larys to die too. Like, I find him really freaking creepy. Like, even before the whole foot fetish thing, like, he was creepy.
Yeah.
He was creepy.
Kill his family. I mean, when you kill your family, you can't have any respect. And I don't know how anyone could ever trust anybody in their life that's willing to kill their family for you. Anyone who's willing to do that, you can't trust that person. He can't be loyal. He's killed his own family for you. Who are you for him to do that? It's just
seriously, someone rips off your family or rips off someone that's a close friend. It's like, and then they're like, "Yeah, but you can trust me." It's no. They screwed over their family. They can do that to anybody. And I agree. Even before the foot stuff, just in this episode alone, the way he's watching all the innocent people come into the cells, he's like, "Oh, I get to torture all these innocent people."
Yeah.
Soon. And it was sort of the undercurrent of that scene, the way he was looking like fresh meat, like just the look on his face was like creepy as hell. He has not necessarily Hannibal Lecter, but he has like serial killer vibes about him.
100%. And also like the thought of being tortured in a medieval cell is like it's the scariest thing that I could possibly imagine. Because they did the worst. Have you seen medieval torture devices?
Yes.
Like they have them at museums, and it's just like
pony,
they did that.
That one they call the pony or something like that, like a horse.
There's a whole museum of them in Balboa Park in San Diego. If anyone's ever been to, there's ones that like hold your foot so a goat can lick it forever and just lick your foot forever, like with the sandy thing until they lick through your foot and stuff. There's some really sick.
I mean, that one.
What?
That one that's like the pony or the horse. It's like sits you down and splits you right as a blade goes right in between your legs and splits you right, and you get lowered right on top of it and it splits you right in half.
Yep.
Like human beings are disgusting. Why would you? Who would ever think?
Wasn't there
come up with that to do that to somebody? Why would you have to do that? Why would you have to come up with that idea?
Wasn't there in a Game of Thrones like they put a rat inside a bucket and
that was real torture? Yeah, that was a real medieval torture.
Yeah. So they put a rat in like on your stomach, and then they put a metal bucket on top of it, so the rat can't get out. And then they heat the bucket up so the rat like chews through you to get out of the heat.
It has no choice. It has no choice. It has to do it. And the Mountain did that in Harrenhal. He was torturing him doing that, and it wasn't the Mountain wasn't doing it. The one guy that Jack and Hagar killed.
What was his name?
With the eyes, he had like really bluish eyes and stuff.
Didn't he have a different name in the show than the book?
No, I can't. It's the same. I can't remember his name too.
Who was it?
The guy that Jack and Hagar killed for Arya, the first person.
Someone in the chat's gonna know.
Yeah, someone in the chat will definitely know.
Tickler.
The Tickler. That's
Tickler.
Right.
Yeah. We have a super chat from Black Summers. How do you guys feel about Larys and the blood oath being omitted? I didn't like that it was omitted.
I don't know if in the grand scheme of things, if it's really that important, and maybe it's more of a book thing.
Maybe it's not true.
To move
maybe it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Jenna says that she said, thank you for the super chat. Y'all got me screaming in the middle of ShopRite. This feels so nostalgic. It does. It feels like old times. Like when I first started YouTube, I remember like back in the day, I was so scared to do a live stream. I'm still scared, nervous.
I remember how nervous you were.
Yeah, like I did a whole live stream with like a wolf mask on. I was so scared. Like I'm still very scared.
I remember you used to have your glasses on and used to have your bun in your hair, and all you'd be able to see is your bun in your hair, you in the top of your glasses and everything.
Yeah, I was just so scared to do live streams, and I just remember like back in the day, guys, like we've all hung out in person at Con of Thrones. We've all got like lit together. So it's like this is like there's no better way to like bring the finale of House of the Dragon in than like all of us together. Also, I see LML in the chat.
What up? What's
up?
And I see I am so far behind in here. I can't like even scroll. I'm trying to keep up with the chat and it's like rolling. But I wanted to talk about Aemond Targaryen one more time before we get into Meleys, because we're getting ready to wind it down and get into Meleys. But Aemond Targaryen, when he's like at that brothel and he's talking to that girl, do you guys think that Aemond being interested in older like are definitely going to do Alice Rivers? And have you ever thought?
Yeah. So Gray's breaking up a little bit right now. She's talking about Alice Rivers, and do you think that because they showed him somewhat interested in the older women, that they would bring Alice Rivers into this? And I think they would have to. I think it's important to his character that they do. And they also had a rumor that what's her name? Elizabeth Olsen is going to be in the next season. I did a video on it saying that if she was going to be, that's who she was going to be playing. I know a lot of people want to say, oh, young Melisandre. You wouldn't have a young Melisandre because she's a glamour. She looked like the same exact age that she was. All right, so that's all glamour. So there will be no young Melisandre. Just be that same Melisandre. This is definitely, if she's in Elizabeth Olsen, this is who it's going to be. This is who she's going to play.
I just want to say that if Elizabeth Olsen played young Melisandre or anybody, that would be such a shame that they didn't just bring back the actress from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So I really hope they don't do that.
Yeah, I would like her just to look the same.
100%.
She would have.
They changed the hair color, but like don't make her have red hair. Maybe something subtly different, or I don't know.
Just give her short hair.
Or maybe you see her one way and then she takes off. She has a bath scene at Harrenhal on some Jamie Brienne type shit, and then you see her another way.
She's going to be about 200 years old at this time, 300 bills. You know what I mean? So I mean, she would be the same. It's a glamour. That's a spell to make her look that way. That's a whole drag out. So she would just put that back on. It's going to be the same person, same thing. There would be no difference in it. So if Elizabeth Olsen, I hope she does get casted, and I hope she does. I think she'd be great for the role. I think that's who she would play. I think that's what, and I do think that role is very important for him, for you to flesh him out and everything out, to let him know, build his character up, not just be some guy who wants to fight all the time, to show that a different side of him. It's important.
I also like in that scene how we get a little tongue-in-cheek mention to the audience, to anyone that might say, oh, he's so tall. She goes, boy, you've grown, or just to kind of make mention of the fact that the actor is so much taller since the last time we saw him. Just a little, that in my own head canon, there was a little wink from the writers on that one that I enjoyed. And I also like seeing a softer side of him in that moment of seeing him, because I assume that was the woman that took his virginity, the way she was looking at him. That kind of seemed like that vibe. Maybe it was obvious, but that's the vibe I got. And I like getting to see a few human moments of him in these first couple of episodes with him.
Mm-hmm. I like that he's just like, Yeah,
did he take Crispy there just because he wanted to see her again? Because he knows right away. He says later, he's like, yeah, you and I won't really know where our brother goes. Did he just want to go there just so he could see the girl again? I don't know.
Maybe he's a simp like that. I would love that for him. But one of the parts I really liked was the fight between Aegon. And I found it kind of funny, like the fight where Aegon and Aemond are like trying to corral Aemond's trying to corral Aegon, and then like there's sword fighting in the background. It's just like, what in the fuck is going on? But he's like, and Aegon is like, is he really dead? And Aemon's like, yeah, they're gonna make you king. And Aegon just like spits on him. Yeah. It's so
He's
weird.
like, no, please.
This is disgusting. I just need to spit on you now. That's kind of like how he was. And it's like, Aemond to me would be, like we said earlier, would be the better king, but he's so dutiful to his mother. Like, he's definitely Alicent's favorite child, and I feel like you can definitely tell. He's like, all. I wonder how Aemond would feel if he knew about Crispin's feelings for his mother.
Or about Mr. Feet Man.
Yeah, or about Feet Man.
Yeah,
I think he'd like it.
I think would be the problem. I think he'd chop his foot off and beat him with his own clubfoot.
Yes.
As he should.
We also have a super
chat
chat from Pink Leslie Reviews. Thank you for the super chat. Alicent got OnlyFans. She ain't no opposite. So that was one of the issues that I have with Alicent, is that like she was acted like Rhaenyra was sullied because she was somewhere she shouldn't be. Why would you even put yourself in a position for people to assume that or say that about you? And she acts like Rhaenyra is so beneath her when it comes to
morality,
virtue and morality. And it's kind of like, bitch, you're up here selling your crusty ass feet pics. Stop.
Like, you're still having an affair. Like, that is 100% an affair. Like, it's obviously a sexual act. Like, so there's really no difference.
Well, yeah. If I was married and my wife came home and said she'd been selling her feet pic to some dude while he jerks off in the same room, that's a no bueno. You can't do that. Yeah. That's definitely cheating. I would be like, nah, shorty. Now, if it was online or something like that, you know, how much
was this an arrangement figured out ahead of time? Yeah, exactly. Was this an arrangement ahead of time? Is this money going into a vacation fund for everybody? I don't know.
Because if I can benefit off it, get some money off it, then, you know, shorty.
We gotta stop talking about Larys, but before we stop talking about him, let's talk about this super chat from Lit Compilations. Thank you for the super chat. I predict Larys wanted more, but settled for defeat.
I think that's funny. Give him the dum Phil.
I know he needs that one for that.
I think that I don't think he would have the balls to ask her for more. I think he's just into foot fetish. That's his shit.
I don't find it different than what Cersei does with the kettlebags.
No, that's different.
Yeah.
Why?
That's different. Because she's using him to get information, and she's using her feet to do it. Yeah, but letting someone run up in you and letting someone jerk off to your feet is two different things.
I mean, of course, but generally it's the same idea.
It is.
It's definitely two different things, but generally the idea is the same.
Yeah, but I still think, you know, it's different in my opinion, you know, but I understand what you're saying. I do. Cersei, the thought. I don't think Alicent's a thought. You know what I mean? She ain't giving up the punani.
Thank you for the super chat, Jamie Soto.
All
right, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for the super chat, Betty Alice. I'm so bad at live streaming. All right, let's just talk about it. The fucking coronation, the fucking dragon, Meleys, the Red Queen. Let's talk about it.
I didn't like the crown. I thought the crown was a little shaky to me. It was supposed to be Aegon's crown. That was a circlet with rubies around it. Did it have a ruby in it? I mean, it just didn't.
They ain't been pledged in a while. They ain't been polished.
Yeah, they could have shined that bitch up a little bit. You know, did something to it. I didn't like it myself, the way the crown looked. Me personally, I wasn't feeling that crown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm looking at it again now.
Yeah.
No.
Where
are the rubies?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's clearly Valyrian steel. Like, I think they got the Valyrian steel part right with the dark smokiness. But to me, it reminds me more of like the crown of Robb Stark, almost. than of Aegon the Conqueror. Or like the Kings of Winter crown than of Aegon the Conqueror. I was just like, it didn't do it for me. I agree.
I don't understand why the crown looks so old too. Like, has no one like, did the metal really degrade so much? Like, if you really look at it, it looks like really worn. It's like, what happened to this crown?
Did they just pick that up out of the crypt? Yeah.
And where did they get the Valyrian steel to make it? Where?
Yeah, I don't know. That crown was very sus, without a shadow of a doubt. But I did like when he had the sword and he was getting into it. He's like he's a rock star. He's like, hey, this ain't so bad here. Ah, I did like that a little bit. I like the look of Blackfire, the sword.
Yeah,
I thought they did a good job with that sword. You know what I mean? He
and
don't deserve it though.
And I thought his stylings, he looked very short and facing the crowd. He looked little when he was just waving the sword. I like how when they said all those things like, hey, this is your new king. Everyone get excited. The common people were just like, okay, whatever. We don't care. And just they all sort of cheered him. But I think obviously the highlight point of that whole scene, and we're going to get to it in a moment, was the dragon busting out. Just from an action standpoint, it was a great visual. Obviously, this has been said many times. It's like in the Man of Steel with Superman and Zod, like so many people were killed there. So many people died with that dragon busting through, and then she won't, kill those last few people because she's a mother or something like that. But so, I mean, there is some stuff there, but I think visually it was, for me anyways, visually our best dragon moment that we've had up until that point on the show. So I got into it, and I also thought it gave a little bit more for Rhaenys to do. I love your dog in the background right now, Gray.
Yeah, she just looked up. I just looked at her in the camera like, what you looking at, Yuki? But I agree. Oh, go ahead, Quinn. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, so the coronation scene can almost be viewed kind of comically. It's kind of funny, right? Because clearly the small folk have no idea what the hell is going on. Like, right. What is even happening right now? Like, why are y'all crowding us into this shit? Like, what is going on? But then I love how they just kind of go along with it. They're just like, oh, okay. But it's also if you think about it, it's probably the most exciting thing that's happened in months, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, why are they or years maybe? They're gathering them all in for a new king. So it was just really, really interesting to see that, and to really further emphasize that point that we don't often think about, which is just the common people in Westeros don't know anything about what's going on. All of the stuff that's happening, we're really from the perspective of the kings and lords and the high lords and stuff. So that was cool to see the regular people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the regular people.
But I like that it was like you were saying earlier, how they did all the Targaryen ambiance with him walking through the swords. But I didn't like that they took away Alicent crowning Helaena, or Aemond or Aegon getting on Sunfire and flying around the city, because I'm we're finally gonna get to see Sunfire, a really good look at Sunfire, and then we don't get it, and I'm kind of
They spent the money on the other dragon.
Yeah, we only get one dragon. It would have been really cool if Sunfire, if Rhaenys was about to Dracarys them, and Sunfire busts through the floor on the other side of them, how Syrax landed behind Otto on the bridge when Caraxes was making all his squeaky noises at Otto.
Yeah,
but
these dragons are really messing up a lot of buildings. How are we gonna repair
they're fuck these buildings.
I thought a funny part was when she came out there in the dragon, and they're like, shut the doors. I'm like, no, open the motherfucker.
Open the door.
I was
open the door. Exactly. You were shut it. No, open the door.
No, motherfucker, keep them shits open.
Why would they shut it?
Yeah, open the door.
Let's go into the Lion King.
Out right now, please. Please get out of here.
We have a super chat from Hot Channels. Thank you for the super chat. Helena's prophecies are like those of Nostradamus. People still trying to retroactively fit it into everything. I guess
Nostradamus was pretty much a quack.
Go on.
I think that's what this person means, because it's like he said a bunch of things, and people now will like take like little things and be like, oh, this applies to this, and it's like, but what about the 500 other things that he said that never happened? But,
yeah.
But I think
oh, go ahead.
I think Helena is a little bit more relevant than Nostradamus in the Song of Ice and Fire deal. But
yeah, because some of what Helena says for sure is fact. Mm-hmm. Like when she says about Aemond's eye, you'll have to lose an eye. Like everything she said has come true.
On the show, she's being used very much Greek chorus, and to echo what's about to happen and what did happen. And so I think compared that to Nostradamus, as Quinn said, oh, the sky is blue today. Oh, Nostradamus said in 14 or whatever year it was that the sky would be blue one day. And people are they're like trying to find everything popped into here. So.
Laura Estrada, thank you for the super chat. Gray and company, first time on live. Such love and respect for your Targaryen loyalty. Tonight will be sad because dragons are going to start dying. We don't know that for sure. I mean, it's the Dance of Dragons. The story that's being told is the Dance of Dragons, and the opening chapter of the Dance with Dragons in that portion in Fire and Blood says it should have been called The Dying of Dragons. So everyone knows to expect dragons to die throughout the series, because when Game of Thrones starts, there are no more dragons. So this is the beginning of the end.
I will agree with the super chat that Alicent definitely did face like her end with like dignity.
Yes, she did.
So,
She did. She was like, so she stood right in front of her son. So if her son thought, she doesn't love me, well, she just stood in front of you.
Yeah, where is Otto? He ran to the other side of that stage.
He's over there talking about, open the door.
He wasn't open that shit. Don't let him in here. Get out of here. Right.
Open the door. But thank you for the super chat, D. Anderson. But yeah, he was like, Aemond was like, he got in like a karate stance. Did you guys see that? Like he got in a karate. Like, what are you about to do to Meleys right now? Like you're just in a whole karate stance.
I missed that. That was great. He's gonna go Cobra Kai on the dragon or something.
Go back and look at it, and he's like standing in like a stance.
Put it in a body bag.
Great style. It's great style. This dragon right now.
Like crazy. But far as actually getting a good look at Meleys, like Meleys up close, they did an amazing job on her. The detail on that dragon, like even like the crown of horns, or are those horns? I think she has like a 7-pointed like horns on her head. It looks like a crown.
They did a great job. I would say like on all the dragons that I've seen so far, especially making them look different, right? Yeah. That's one thing that they definitely, George wanted to happen, is to say that these dragons, they all don't look like Daenerys' dragons. They all look different. They all have different personalities. Now, I haven't really seen too much of the personality. Now, I don't expect the dragon to be kicking a ball around and licking somebody or nothing like that. But I haven't seen that personality yet as much. But definitely looking at them, you could see that they're all 100% look different. And I love the way they've done that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. We have another super chat. Thank you, Laura, for the super chat. How old are all the children in this episode? I think Jace is 16.
16 and is Luke 12, 13?
13 or 12. I think Aegon is 21 and Aemond is like 19.
19? Yeah, like 19.
Yeah, and then Helena is
Aemond might 20. Look 34, but he's 19.
But he's actually a sweet summer child. He's a green summer night with the smell of summer still on him. And Daemon's a winter soldier.
That is a good description of him as the Winter Soldier. He is definitely like the Winter Soldier.
I had said that offhand in my breakdown for episode 8. Yeah, episode 8, because I felt episode 8 was probably one of the best episodes thus far. Even like rivaling Game of Thrones, like some of the best Game of Thrones episodes. Episode 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree.
This show is, when you look at the show as a whole, and you look at the Game of Thrones early episodes as a whole, it's held its own with it. I think they've done a great job holding its own with it. I wouldn't, say this show is in any. It doesn't seem like a spinoff. It seems like its own show.
Yeah, and I would say almost not that I didn't expect it, but it's surprisingly as good as it is. I went into it with open eyes and wanting to like it, but it won me over even more than I thought it was possible going into it, even knowing points of the story. And Gray, I said it earlier too, episode 8 is one of my would put on the list, would be the first episode of the series. And I like all the episodes so far, but it would be the first one I would put on that all-time Song of Ice and Fire television episode list. Like, it was just such a great performance by the series, just the dinner scene, the contrast, just like everything from beginning to end. Didn't have a moment where I was like didn't have that one moment or anything. It was, to me, the 10 out of 10 episode of the season was episode 8.
Yeah, it was. It's my favorite. And we have a super chat. Hi, Mandy. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. The baby was Gaiman ? And he was beneath the boards. Mandy, don't start. Don't start this tinfoil. Don't start this tinfoil. So you have to check out Direwolf City so you can get Mandy's tea, because I guess Gaiman is the beast beneath the boards. We have another super chat from Danny Davis. Thank you for the super chat. The Greens would have challenged Rhaenyra even if her kids were legit. She's the heir, not them.
All right. So the way they set it up, that's not the way they showed it. Excuse me. So from what they showed in the show, they were going to put Aegon from the beginning. And then they had the dinner. And at that dinner, when they toasted each other, Alicent says to us specifically, "You're going to make a great queen." So Alicent was done with it. They were all done. They were ready for Rhaenyra to take the throne. And then on the deathbed, she believed that she heard her husband say that her son should be the one. And that's what got her motivated to do it again.
Now, Tony, I have a question for you just in general, though, because I agree with everything you just said. I do believe all of that's true, and I think Alicent did turn, but I think Otto and the rest of the small council had that plan in motion either way. If they had to lock Alicent in a room, if they had to do that, it's. I think when Otto smiles, when she says, "Viserys said this to me," Otto gets the smile. Oh, now that's going to make things a lot easier. You believe this? Ha! Like, I think he would have locked her up too, and still had tried to put Aegon in that role no matter what. At least that's my perspective.
I agree with that. He could have tried, but without the support of the queen, it's not happening.
I get you got Crispy would be on her side.
The kid didn't want it in the first
and the
place.
Kingsguard.
Right? The kid didn't want it, and the queen is the queen, and that would have been the end of Otto. He's just the head. So without her, it would. I agree that he could have tried, but it wouldn't.
I think he would have.
But it wouldn't have worked. It was, and that's why you have that. Are you happy with the fact that they used that as a crutch for her to say, keep continuing for her son to go on the throne?
Yeah, I agree. I agree that. What did he ask the question? I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
I was going to say I agree that if Alicent wasn't in it, it would have been way harder for them to try to pull off this whole plot, right? And I don't think they would have succeeded with locking her away. Not with like the Kingsguard being like it was and Kristen Cole being there. I don't think that would have worked. I think she would have been pretty safe, and I think Otto would have just been gonzo. Basically, it would have still been difficult, but I feel like it wouldn't. Yeah, it would have been different.
Yeah. I think you can't pull it off without Alicent consenting. But I also do think like Otto has been planning this for years. Like he's been planning this for years. Like, but him marrying his daughter to the king, him getting Viserys to name Rhaenyra his heir, was to get Daemon out of the way. And I know somebody had asked me before, like, do you think Otto would have still supported Rhaenyra if she didn't marry Daemon? No. Daemon was like her marrying Daemon was the best thing she could have done for her cause. for her cause. So thank you for the super chat, Luna Cascade. Also, we have another super chat from Wisdom Minari. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, Quinn, looking forward to the Halloween video. Will you sing in your season review?
In my season review?
Sing now.
I actually recorded a cover of Stevie Wonder's Superstition for my Halloween episode, but I don't know if I put it in there.
You know,
I can't say now.
I was listening to a little bit of Johnny Gillen, you know, and that is the closest we get to a Luther Vandross type singer is Johnny Gill. Like Johnny Gill really goes for it. Like he tries. He tries. He can't do it. I mean, no one can do it like Luther, but Johnny goes for it. He does go for it. You know what I mean? But if y'all don't know, Quinn be blowing them pipes out there, man. He's nice with the
very good singer.
Him and also Pete Easy too. Don't sleep on Pete Easy. Pete Easy be going there singing the Rain of Castamere and all that stuff too. Shout out to Big Pete.
Love it. I love it. We're planning on doing karaoke like soon.
Oh, let's do it. That's gonna be awesome. Let's do it.
I have a song about the foot fetish that I
No, we're not doing it.
Do.
Oh, yeah, this super chat. We're not doing it.
I can't do it now because I'm sick, but I'm going to record it this week. I already have it written. It's ready to go. But I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there in a YouTube short this week. I'll drop it. I would already dropped it, but I got sick, so I can't do it. But you'll see the YouTube short. I'll drop it this week.
I have my Uncle Fucker parody about Rhaenyra that I'll be singing.
Stay tuned for the album drops.
You're a dragon riding, lying Uncle Fucker.
Oh, we have a super chat from Frozen Whirlpool. Shout out everyone. Quinn, my first A Song of Ice and Fire YouTuber 6 years ago. The Don, Tony, Teflon, Gray the Goat, and Phil the Cookie Issues guy?
I think he means kooky.
Kooky.
Waka.
Phil runs a very good show over there. You guys, please go check out his after show. Subscribe to him, Phil the Issues Guy. If any of the moderators have his channel, can you drop it in the chat? Can you drop all their channels in the chat? Because I appreciate you guys coming and spending the what is this? The season finale, House of the Dragon Day. Like we won't have a House of the Dragon Day again for a long time.
I would have been so sad if I woke up late and I missed this.
I'm so glad.
David Lightbringer has it. He's working on Here Comes the Bastards cover. I think this means that we're going to have to all put out a big giant House of the Dragon album next year. Yeah, I think
Wait till you hear this. My song is fire. Wait till you hear it.
Oh my God.
This is happening.
Wait till you hear it, man.
I am producing this album. I will take all the tracks. I'll orchestrate. This is happening.
That's crazy. So we're going to wind this stream down, guys. We're going to wind the stream down. I'm going to answer your super chats. And don't forget at 6:30 to go to Tony's channel so we can talk about episode 10 and what's to expect coming in episode 10. So we're going to break down the preview and all of that good stuff. And I'm still trying to catch up.
You're invited. If you want to come, you can show up. Quinn, as always, I'll send you the link if you can't. I don't like asking people online, but if you can,
definitely send me the link. Depends on which time I watch the show. Because sometimes I watch it later. But
all right.
Oh, it's before.
It's at 6:30 Eastern time.
Oh, okay.
So what would that be, like 4:30 your time? I would think.
Yeah.
So we have a super chat from Hot Channels. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate your comments, R.E. Kinslaying. But to the viewer, Hot D has not established a taboo. When Otto proposes it, Alicent is against it because of Viserys. When she talks to Aegon, it is the same thing. Well, when it comes to Otto and Alicent killing Rhaenyra, it's not kinslaying because they're not her blood. They're not her blood. So it wouldn't be like, it would be like if Aegon killed Rhaenyra.
You don't have any mods in the chat? People saying no mods.
I probably don't. I don't know. I have no idea.
Somebody doing something weird?
Something's happening?
No. Because you said mods drop it in the thing, and people are saying they can't drop it because there's no mods.
I can't make anybody know any mods from this program.
You have to go to the YouTube chat.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to go to YouTube chat and then do it from there.
If you want a wrench.
I would suggest Mod Mary, as always, is always a great mod. Jackie C is always a very good mod. Vincent Harper is a mod on my channel too. Great mod.
All right. I made Mod Mary. I made Mod Mary and Jackie C. I thought I had moderators. They must be doing something. LML's a moderator. LML, can you drop some links for me?
He ain't dropping no damn.
Yeah, he's busy. He's busy. So we also had. Oh yeah, he was talking about the kinslay. We were talking about the kinslaying thing before. I made a couple of mods. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. So the kinslaying thing, they're not really related, so I don't think that would be a thing. But I get it. I do think it was kind of like, is this necessary? Is this necessary? Because it does leave like a kind of plot hole. Because a lot of us would have just Dracarys all of them.
Emily says, when will season 2 come out? 2 years from now.
Is it really 2 years, guys?
Yeah.
Like, is that confirmed?
I appreciate the 2 years.
It'll be.
If it really is if it is 2 years, then I feel like that is the good move, because it's better to like just take our time and create another good season than like rush it out because our show is really popular right now.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's what a less learned studio would do. But I feel like HBO is very smart, so they realize that people will wait for a good season of television.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it will be 2024, whether that's a year and a half or a full 2 years.
Yeah, whatever you want. It'll be 2024, whatever time, but 2024 drop. I think their plan is to have one of these other shows come out on the off year, whether it's the Jon Snow show or whether it's the 9,000,000 10,000 Ships or the Duncan Egg show. That to be the off year of House of the Dragon. And you have 1 year of that, and then 1 year of this, and 1 year of that, and 1 year of this. I think that's what their plan is. How they want it to get it out when they start getting things wrong.
So people were speculating that because they did like the whole chasing Aegon through King's Landing thing, that they might really be doing the Flea Bottom show, the Small Folk show.
I think they are trying to set up a Flea Bottom show.
I'd watch it.
I would too. I would watch it too. I think that's why they're showing a lot of King's Landing, Flea Bottom, and they're going through that. So I definitely think they will. They're trying to set it up, but it all depends. Obviously, there's new people in Discovery who just bought Warner Brothers, and there's a whole new executive in there. So, and these people who have Warner Brothers, they're also, Discovery wants to sell it off again to another company, and they're trying to build it up so they can sell it again. So it all comes down to how this executive really likes the show and everything else. And when you look at his other shows, it's not a lot like this that he does. So I think that they'll put something out there, but it would have to be something that they feel is quality. The guy, he trashed the whole Batwoman movie that was shot. Millions of dollars.
They didn't even release it.
Yeah, and he trashed it. He's like, no. He bought that thing, and they bought the new CEO, and he said, I'm not putting that shit out. It's done. Nope. Everyone go home. And that's
maybe
after
that shows
they
he's
spent
smart.
$20 million, $50 million on the movie. They said, no, it's not coming out. Not on HBO, not nothing. It's done. It's just done. So that's what this dude is doing. So if he don't like it, it ain't going. And he don't care how much money he spent. Done. That's just what it is.
And I like that because I feel like people don't realize that certain pieces of media can actually harm the brand. Like you release something that's really bad and it just puts a stink on everything else. But
yeah.
The CW made a whole living at that.
I hate talking about like Game of Thrones season 8, but I feel like they fumbled the bag so bad that a lot of people, House of the Dragon could potentially be bigger than it is right now. Like, because it did
agree.
If Game of Thrones had ended better, I feel like House of the Dragon would be. There's people that refuse to watch it.
Still.
I know so many people that were crazy about Game of Thrones, and I'm like, "Are you watching it?" And they're like, "No, I'm not watching that." I'm like, "But it's good, please."
Right. We have a super chat from Sweet Swag. Thank you for the super chat. I get when Helena was younger, not grasping the vision thing, but by now she knows, right? Why hasn't she been able to properly communicate or make people aware of their happenings?
I did a video on Helena. You can check it out, showing that Helena is autistic. And that's why if you look at all the signs that she has and watch the video, you will see that it's no doubt in my mind from watching her that, and I had people like P. Easy, who has family members that are autistic, that say that there's no doubt, and people who are autistic that watch it, that said that's the first thing that they felt like she was on the spectrum. And I give all the clues and everything else that she definitely is on the spectrum.
I have a dumber answer. I feel like, okay, so if like you've been like getting visions and prophecy your whole life, you're gonna be weird, right?
Yeah.
You're just gonna be a weird person because it's like you're like getting all this like feed from like this ethereal realm, so it just makes you strange. I don't know. That's definitely dumber than Tony's answer, but yeah.
They're both great answers.
Both good answers.
Both great answers. We have a super chat from Trey Mac 26. Thank you for the super chat. I find it interesting that we still haven't seen Daeron Targaryen. If he pops up next season looking like Kristen Cole, I'ma fall out. What'd you say, Quinn?
So I guess
we got sex bots in the chat.
I guess he will be in next season, from what I'm hearing. That definitely he's in Old Town right now. I think it's pretty much confirmed that he'll be in next season. I just don't think that the fact that they didn't mention him, and now all of a sudden another brother's going to pop out of thin air, is going to be weird. They should have at least brought his name up at least once somewhere and let people acknowledge that there is another brother.
Yeah, because they kind of just left him out, but then George confirmed on his Nada blog that he is included and he is in Old Town. They just couldn't
and
get
he
to
is
him.
Still working on Winds of Winter. He made sure he said that.
Yeah, but they just couldn't get to him in this season, and it's like, bro, you can't just add a line that says he's
I agree.
So in the chat is saying they teased him in the opening sequence. It's not good enough. A lot of people don't understand that opening sequence. I mean, I do, and a lot of YouTubers do, and people have made videos explaining it, but the average fan just don't get it. And if you now all of a sudden you're gonna pop up a brother out of nowhere, you know what I mean? Oh, I was in Old Town this whole time. You should have at least when she spoke to her uncle, who he's with. Hey, how's my son doing? How's they're always doing great over there? You know, when they came through, it's something simple and quick. They should have did that.
Yeah, that's all they had to do. I kind of find it a little stupid they didn't include that. I find it stupid that they didn't include him. Just a saying, just like where he is. We also have a super chat from Iara. Thank you for the super chat. His crown was Aegon the First. Last wearer was Maegor. Both Aegon II and Maegor had mothers who usurped from them. Both of their lines died out. Symbolism. Also, spoiler, girl. Spoiler. Marcus Jones, thank you for the super chat. I wish in the middle of the coronation someone yelled, "What about Rhaenyra?" like Daemon from Mean Girls. For real, like the small folk were just like, "Oh, whatever, yay!"
They don't know who these people are. I feel like they probably barely know what the king looks like. You know what I mean? How often are they really like going up and getting a close look? They don't know who these people are.
They had to be scared as hell. You have all the army hoarding you into one room. You don't know what they're gonna do to you in that room. They could have fed you to the dragons up in that room. They was just happy to do anything to get up out that piece. Yeah. Whatever you want, you got. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they came on their own. They were all forced to go down there.
Yes. Like they did just kind of round them up like cattle and force them in there.
Like, oh, you want us to cheer for this guy?
Yeah, people were like, Rhaenys killed all these small folk. Why is it Rhaenys' fault that she didn't look for an exit out of her prison and she just came through the floor? Like, why isn't it the Green's fault for kidnapping her? They kidnapped her. Yeah. And tried to like kidnap her dragon too. Like, cut it out, guys. But also trifling. Also, we have a super chat from Philip. Did y'all notice how Crispin managed to have that salty tone and that salty "F you Rhaenyra" expression when he crowned Aegon? Like, bro, it's been 20 plus years. Let it go.
We know.
We hate him.
Yes.
We hate him, but yes, it's been 20 plus years. Let it go. I don't get it. The next super chat, loving Aegon. asking if his mother loves him, and Alicent's answer of "you imbecile." So savage. So many ways to interpret her meaning. Thank you, Greer Gladney, for the super chat. She loves him. She loves her children. Yeah. She loves her children. Is she a good mother? No. Did she have a good father? No. And her mother was also dead. So, like, you know, that's what she knows. She's doing what she knows. But she loves him. We know she loves him when she stood in front of that dragon for him.
I feel like that's why she called him an imbecile. She's like, of course I love you, you idiot.
And people over here saying, the first time I ever seen Gray Area in person. See, I told her I ain't getting on the stream unless she's showing us something. I told her we ain't playing that box.
He did not say that. He's lying to y'all.
I told that.
He's lying to y'all. So next super chat. I'm like so far behind, 15 minutes behind on the chats, and I'm trying to wind the stream down, but I don't want to leave without answering your super chats. So let me get to them. I'm not good at this, guys.
Let's do this. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Right. Thank you for the super chat, Beth McGee. Live your, I think she means love. Love your channel, Gray Area. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, love you guys. Beth. Like, seriously, you guys support, like, means everything to me. Like, you're like my second family, my sweet summer children. Love you so much. I felt really bad about not having my breakdown out. It was pressure. It's pressure for sure. Hopefully this made up for it. You got the old gang, the OGs all back together. You get to go over on Tony's channel, and we're gonna take you right up into the episode. Thank you for the super chat, Webby Boosie. What was the name of the houses that refused to bend the knee? So one was House Fell. One was Cassell. No.
I didn't pay attention, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't know right off.
Caswell. House Caswell. And then the other one, I was calling him Lord, I must consult with my house. Like, he really tried.
He tried so hard.
But like, why can't any of these people lie? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, in that moment, no, like, just say what they want you to say. Wait just a couple weeks and get the F out of there.
Yeah, like, why?
It would have been easy. You don't have to like leave that morning. Just like wait a little bit.
Exactly. Wait a couple. Like.
Yeah. Yes. Another super chat is, if kings can legitimize true bastards, Viserys recognizing Rhaenyra's boys makes them legitimate. They aren't bastards regardless of blood. So the issue with this is that they technically don't need to be legitimized because they don't have like the last name Stone or Snow or Strong. Like, they are recognized as Valyrians.
Don't like for like someone to be like legitimized, don't they first need to be acknowledged that they're bastards anyway?
Yeah.
So if they didn't say they were bastards to begin with, there was nothing to legitimize.
Yeah, so it's kind of like redundant. Rhaenyra would have to come out, make them bastards, and then they would have to be legitimized as Strongs. Or I guess the Targaryens.
In the chat selling encyclopedias and shit.
I don't know how to stop it.
That's what my
okay.
The Encyclopedia Britannica?
Yeah, the guy's selling encyclopedias up in this piece.
Oh, wow, I haven't seen the encyclopedia in a while.
Guys, don't click on any links. There are no giveaways. I have no Telegram. I'm not giving away no PlayStation 5 or none of that.
I've been getting those too everywhere.
And no pictures of her feet, no nothing. Anything.
That was a joke. There's no gray area. Feet only fans.
Nothing
doesn't exist.
Nothing. Also, thank you for becoming a member of the channel, Michael Jasper. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys' support, as I said 100 times. And my breakdown on episode 10 is gonna be out on tomorrow. It's gonna be out tomorrow. I don't have to work tomorrow, so there's that. Also, I think that I catch all the super chats. I think I did. Oh, Lord, they're putting porn in the chat. Lord, it's getting a mess up in here.
That's how you know you made it.
Yeah, I know,
Like,
right?
what are you
That's how
doing?
you know you made it
YouTube?
when they went. That means a lot of people are watching when they come. That means you got a lot of heads watching.
Super chat from Maud Mary. Tony asked earlier, can you all answer if you like the show's decision to have Alicent change her mind due to Viserys' deathbed misunderstanding? I answered. So I think she's talking to Quinn and Phil. So I had already answered and I didn't like it.
I don't mind it. Because I think George R.R. Martin likes to, what's that thing he always says, that prophecy is treacherous. Like, you have to really understand it. And there's a lot of danger in just like carelessly like throwing around like these prophecies, you know what I mean? So I don't mind it. I think it was interesting.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. I think what the part of it I do like is the fact that when you want to believe something, even if, because she just changed her mind to Rhaenyra earlier in that evening, if we're going to say the timetable is right. So it hasn't been repaired long term. So in her mind, she still wants her kid to be king. So she kind of heard what she wanted to hear, even though Viserys did tell her about it earlier in the season when they were by the fire. Like, she had known that information to a different extent. So, but that's what people are like. It's a real life thing. When you want something to happen, you manifest what you want to hear and see. And I thought from that point, it was believable.
She's delusional and she's in denial.
Exactly. And she needed to find a reason.
People in the chat are asking what my channel is. Can someone put the link to my channel in the chat? It's Teflon TV is my channel. Jackie C.
Jackie C.
That's why I said you got Jackie C.
I made her a mod. Thank you, Jackie C, for becoming a mod.
Jackie C got all that. She hold it down.
So we have another super chat from Emily Christina. Probably a futile question, but do you think The Winds of Winter will be released before season 2 starts? Love you all.
Don't ask me these questions. I don't even.
Quinn, go
on. I'm not even answering.
Pretend
I'm not answering. I'm not answering.
2 years. Could he get it done in 2? I would hope so. I would say I hope so. I hope so.
I've hoped a lot of things, you know. I've hoped a lot.
9 years ago.
Yeah. So I feel like we just can't say. I feel like we just have to like just take it when it comes.
It's gonna be what I think. What happened to him? I think he has more interest in writing Fire and Blood. I think he's seen a reaction. A lot of the stuff that you've seen in the show is gonna happen. Some of it, and he's seen that people didn't like that reaction. So he's more into people. Move on. Quinn's a writer, and when you get to something, you know what I mean. At some point, you feel you have an idea for something else, and you want to do something else. And he's been writing that book series for over 20 years now. He has this House of the Dragon thing and all this, and Duncan Egg. I think he's more interested in writing that than writing this.
Yep.
His heart's not in it like it was.
I like
hard truth.
One of the reasons, like, if you guys remember, I used to put out 2-3 videos a week. After the way Game of Thrones ended, and after like not all these years of waiting for Winds of Winter, it was really hard for me to talk about anything in Westeros with the same amount of passion that I had. I have it again because House of the Dragon has like reignited. As soon as I seen the trailer, I was like, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt, because if it ends so stupidly, like season 8 of Game of Thrones, like I will be done in Westeros. I would not go back to Westeros. I cannot handle that again. Like, what happened to Daenerys' character really, 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 really like killed a lot of passion that I had for this series.
It messed with a lot of people. It caused COVID. I mean,
it really did. It did cause COVID. Thanks. But no, it's seriously like when something is like part of your job and you spend a lot of time covering it and researching it, and bro, for them just to make Dany just kill all those men, women, and children, I just cannot. But anyway, Lit Compilation says, easy fix. When Alicent was counting dragons as she is trying to get Rhaenys to join them, add a mention of Daeron and his dragon. Yeah, that would have been an easy fix. Thank you for the super chat, Darren. Which dragons are you most wanting to see in the second season? Tessarion, the cannibal, sheep stealer. Who are you guys, like, what dragon are you dying to see?
I want to see the best looking dragon of them all. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, I'd rather see obviously.
Sunfire.
Yeah, I'm more interested in seeing Nettles because of the character more than the dragon. But I want to see the best looking dragon. I want to see how they pull that off because I want to feel that. I want to really look at that dragon and say, "This is the most beautiful dragon I've ever seen."
We've already seen him.
Huh?
We've already seen him.
No, I need to see him full grown like this.
Oh, like wings spread and all that stuff.
I need to see him shooting gold fire and everything else.
Yeah. The dragon I was looking forward to seeing the most was Vhagar, and I've already seen her, but second to Vhagar is probably Vermithor. I want to see Vermithor and Silverwing.
We're gonna see more Vhagar in this new episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Insert evil laugh. Yeah. Yes, we're gonna see more Vhagar. I'm trying to catch up, guys. I'm sorry. I need to hook up my other monitor.
Let me just say shout out to everybody here in the chat.
Thank
you have 1,300 people watching live.
Wow.
You know, which is huge, and it's a huge thing for 1,300 people to come and watch the channel. So thank you all for joining us on Gray Area's channel and everything else and rocking it.
Hit the like button to help out Gray Area, please.
Yes,
Definitely.
Please share this video. So we have another super chat from Hi, I'm Allison. All of you are great and keep this community going. Thank you, Allison. Joby, what do y'all plan to do with the time between the seasons? Well, a lot of us cover other shows. Yep. I cover Euphoria. I cover American Horror Story. I haven't decided if I'm going to cover American Horror Story because the new episode just came out on Wednesday and I haven't watched it. But last season of American Horror Story pissed me off so bad. I don't really want to...
Last season was like the pseudo Stephen King Salem's Lot with the vampire. And then they did the Alien second half.
The first half was really good. And then it was like 4 episodes of some bullshit. I just like, what?
Okay, what? Okay, I just want to say super quick. The Alien one, I really enjoyed like the parts that were like back in the day. And then the future parts were so dumb with like those teenagers. Like, I don't know what was going on with that. Those
right. Like you're talking about like the Area 51, like the black and white. Yeah, that was really
That was cool. Yeah, but when they went with the kids on the ship, I was like, what? Yeah, anyway.
Yes. Quinn covers like sci-fi Dune. Are you covering 3 Body Problem?
Yeah, I basically just whatever science fiction books that I read at any given time, I've been able to just like talk about whatever, and it's been really working and it's really exciting.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Is Dan and Dave working on 3 Body Problem?
They are both the executive producers. There's also another Chinese producer. Yes, but I'm hoping that the lead guy, the Chinese guy that's on, I hope that he is really like the front runner and they're just kind of like in the background, like they'll just slap their name on it.
Yeah, when you executive produce, you usually just pay.
Yeah, you just pay for pay for everything.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the super chat, 80 Smooth. Gray, I stalked your channel so much I had to explain to my wife who you were. Why do you think Rhaenys didn't burn the green?
I think that she didn't burn the greens because it's not her war to start.
Yep, it's not her fight.
It comes down to it. It's not her place to do that.
I think nobody wants to start a war. I just think everybody is stupid if they think that this isn't going to start a war. Like, either way.
Rhaenys had her moment where she was like, I just want y'all to know that I could kill you right now, but I'm choosing not to out of my kindness.
I'm showing you mercy. I would have just said Dracarys. I was like,
absolutely. Who's gonna try me?
Burn first, ask questions later.
I gotta watch the Jets game.
Oh, we're almost done. So also we have also thank you for the becoming a channel member, Sharmila. And I think this is the last super chat. Thank you, Christina, for the super chat. Do you think we will get an episode this season that feels sad and tragic as when Ned, Rob, and John died? Those episodes were so emotional because they were good people and we got a lot of screen time with them before they died. Yes. Yes. I do not this season.
We'll get moments like that.
But we will get moments like that. I think this season
I don't
too
think we
late
get
in the season.
an emotional moment as the Red Wedding. I don't think we get that in this series. I don't think there's one.
Yeah, I do.
I don't see that.
I don't know. They could just put one in. You know what I mean?
They could add one.
On.
From what we read in the books, there's not an emotional Red Wedding moment in this.
You're right about that. Yeah, I agree.
And it doesn't spend the same way that Game of Thrones is a series, the television series, built characters in the way you cared about them, and the way that they sort of got you looking one way. And then I'm not sure, this show is a little bit more, and this is a good thing. It calls it shot and then it gives it to you. So I'm not sure if this show will give you as much of a surprise like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think there are gonna be moments where it shocks you, but I don't know if there's gonna be a moment where no. I think the Battle of the Gullet is gonna be pretty fucking gut wrenching.
There'll be moments, but when you look at what the Red Wedding was, you're talking about the hero of the show whose father was killed, who goes to war off and starts winning all these battles.
Never loses.
Wins all these battles, becomes, then gets married, and then they backstab him and stab his pregnant wife and kill his family and kill the widow of Ned Stark too, and everything. There's no emotional attachment to any of these characters that you feel towards these people like you felt towards those people.
Not yet, because we've had a full season of time jumps where we're just right now at the end of the time jumps and starting out with the cast that we're going to be with for 4 seasons. I feel like they have the potential to do a lot with Jace. They have the potential to do a lot with his story. And I think he could potentially deliver.
It's really hard to talk about all this, by the way, without spoilers. Yeah, me too. Yeah. For a couple type spoilers things.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat, Yanadu. What happens to Laenor's dragon? He's not dead. Sea Smoke's just
find out.
Can I say a slight?
To come home?
I'm going to say a slight spoiler. It does get mentioned in episode 10.
Yeah, but I would say that's the best looking dragon so far that I've seen.
Sea Smoke.
Yes.
That really cool design. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Super chat from AR Kagan. Thank you for the super chat. Could Aemond have fathered any kids with Helena? Yes.
Oh.
So I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter, but I was talking about how Aemond, Aegon, and Helena reminded me of the Dragon Knight, Aegon the Unworthy, and Nerys. So without saying who they are, but whole Blackfire Rebellion was basically started because of those. Mm-hmm. But basically it's they believe that the kid was not Aegon's and was actually his brother's, the Dragon Knight.
I don't think so, because I think it ruins the character. The character that they're putting forth of him is he's someone who's honorable, he'll do his duty, someone who should be king. He's not a whorebag like his brother is, just going around, just sleeping with everything. So I think for that reason, he wouldn't disrespect his brother's wife and do something with her behind his brother's back.
But it's his sister.
Yeah, but it's which would make more reason for him not to do it.
I think he likes her though.
Well, he said he goes, that's gonna be your queen. I do it because I do my duty, and that's gonna be your queen. With a brother, we got nothing in common, so you gotta do your duty. So I think that he's too dutiful to do something like that.
Yeah,
and that's
why I see that angle.
Yeah,
I see that angle.
That is true. That is true. So we're gonna have a lot of time of 4-8 years. I don't know, between, since if it's 2 years between episodes, we have about 8 more years to debate this shit. But I'm gonna wrap this up. I think I got everybody's super chat. I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming and hanging out with us. Y'all show me so much love all the time. I appreciate it so much. And I also want to thank some of my OG friends, Quinn, Tony, and Phil. Make sure you check out their channels. Make sure you check out Quinn's channel. Quinn, you don't do anything live for Hot D, right?
I've done a few live streams, but now I'm putting out one big episode on House of the Dragon after this last episode comes out.
Okay, cool. So watch out for his House of the Dragon videos. Also, lots of sci-fi and horror stuff over there. Make sure you check out Tony's stream, the pregame stream for the episode tonight,
6:30 p.m. Eastern. Gray will be there. Hopefully, Quinn will be there. Bridge 4 will be there. Phil, the issues guy. And when we do our stream, it's a call-in live stream. So everyone who shows up, the number will be there. You can call in, speak to us live, leave messages. We're going to take all your questions and everything else. So hopefully we see you all over there 6:30 tonight. A couple of hours, an hour and a half. We'll be over there rocking with you. And if you ever wanted to see Bridge 4, you'll see what he looks like too. People haven't seen what Gray looks like. So if you want to see what Bridge looks like, he'll be there too.
And sometimes we get guest calls on my show and on Tony's show from
hello, Will.
the lady Vagar might in fact call Nanny Vagar might in fact call in.
Also, Al Pacino called.
Yeah, he's been calling my show. I've been getting Al Pacino calling every week, Tony. It's been amazing.
Yeah, so there's some celebrities that do be calling.
Yeah, celebrities do call in these shows, and I'm on right after the episode airs at about 10:15 Eastern time. And joining, and the phone line is open, so get your calls in after that. And I'm also lucky enough to have Vagar jump on in the chat sometimes, and we'll see what Vagar has to say tonight. I want to talk to that Nanny a little bit later. But yes, thank you so much, Gray, for having me. And it's always awesome to talk to Quinn and of course Tony as well.
Yes, guys. Thanks for coming. But guys, make sure you check out Phil's after show. Phil has amazing energy, and he's actually good at doing live streams.
Oh,
he's actually good at it.
Give yourself credit. You're amazing. There's like how many people watching right now, and you're keeping this all together, Gray. Great. Everyone in the live chat, let's give Gray some applause for hosting this awesome show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. We're gonna get out of here. I cannot wait for the finale, and make sure you follow us 6:30 on Tony's channel. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.
Peace.